Okay, so we are live, and anybody be coming in whenever. So namaste to everybody, whoever's watching this on the restream. I had already announced this twice. Once in a video at the beginning of a video last week, or was it this past Thursday, whatever. And in a short video the week before this. So for anybody watching this later on or during the weekend of the Thanksgiving weekend, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Even though right now it's November 23rd, but you might be watching this in a few days from now. So, any questions you have and whatnot, just remember in the comments section, in the chat box, basically not the comment section, the chat box on your right side of the screen. If you're using a laptop, same thing with a smartphone, it's somewhere around there. Tablet, I don't know. Big TV screen, I really don't know. So I'm outside here at the country house, not inside the house, so at least I have more light. And I'll be having breakfast, my big breakfast, while I'm talking to you guys. But remember, this live stream is about people who are planning to, let's say, live abroad, whether you are living in the US or in Canada or in Europe or somewhere in Latin America or in Asia, Africa, whatever, Australia. And if you think that you just don't want to live in the country where you were born and raised or in the current country you are in, and you want to spend your life somewhere else, and Colombia is on that list of options, of possibilities, this live stream is about that, about expat life here, what to expect, what questions do you have about life here in the Medellin metro area and in the Rio Negro area, metro area. I don't live in the Medellin metro area. I live about 40 minutes out by car, or 45 minutes or an hour, depending on what part of Medellin or other parts of the metro area you're driving from. So please, I'll wait for you to ask questions and wait for more people to come on in. I'm eating some beans with rice and potatoes and green peas because this is kind of like similar to what they call a calentado. Calentado. Let me just write it here if anybody's asking, what is it you're having for breakfast? I already had my first breakfast at about 5:30 in the morning because I was very hungry. And I had to do a lot of work here, prepare breakfast for the doggies, cook and prepare the ingredients for tonight's dinner for them because I basically cook for them. Don't give them dry dog food anymore. It's healthier. Yeah, there goes one of them. So this is the first time I do one of these things in terms of not a live stream. My normal live streams have been walking live streams where I have been walking when I lived in Envigado, and and I would do live streams walking around in Envigado when I was going to Medellin, which is next door to Envigado, and walking around and showing different places during the live stream. It was just a walk and talk kind of thing. And once in a while, a person would ask a question about cost of living or safety or whatnot in terms of Medellin and whatever. And sometimes I have done live streams in Sabaneta or La Estrella or in Copacabana. I think I've done one. And I've done a few in Rio Negro or in Guatapé. I have done one. And plus, when I was living in Mexico, I did one there. And like a few there. I did a few live streams, even one on Dia de los Muertos, November 1st, back in 2021 when I was living in Mexico. I did maybe two live streams while I was living in India, and one live stream I think I did when I was in Nepal. But since then, I have done a sporadic live stream here and there because life changed when I came back. I wasn't living in Envigado anymore. I'm living in the countryside, and nobody wants to see a live stream about that. And I wasn't going down to the city just for a live stream to come back all the way up here, whether I was going in the vehicle or by public transport. So as I see right now, there's nobody connected. 5 minutes into it, well, we'll see what happens. I did announce it, and I even put a post up yesterday reminding people who are interested in this that I was going to be here. So basically, I'm going to enjoy my breakfast and then wait for whoever to come along and ask questions. Girls, don't get daddy's shirt dirty. Uh-uh. The girls are right here next to me because they want food or something, but they already had breakfast. Uh-uh. No, no, Shanti. Keep in mind if you're watching this right now on the restream because there's nobody connected right now. I see zero connections and just one thumbs up. Somebody came in and left quickly. That because I don't know if there are three people or zero people on because I'm just looking at the screen right up here and it says on my screen anyway it says zero people and it says 6 minutes 48 seconds. But this is my screen and one thumbs up right here. But that's my screen. Your screen will be different. So whenever I'm going to do a live stream in general, I like a one of these. I'm going to let people know with time. If it's just going to be a walking live stream, as I have done in the past, which I would like to do in December, but in the daytime, not at nighttime, maybe around 10 o'clock in the morning or by the latest 2 p.m. So that way, if I do a 2 hour live stream with my smartphone, then I finish up, I hear the phone ringing. Since I got nobody here, let me go check. Usually I don't have my ringer on, but it's an unknown number. If it's not registered, if I don't have it on my phone saved as a contact, I don't answer. Telemarketers, even on a Sunday, or some undesirable person, nah. If somebody really needed me, they would leave me a message, and they never do. Subadra's just chilling right there. She's just chilling, relaxing. I'm just remembering, but I'm going to stop talking so I can eat this well, chew it well, so I can do good benefit nutrition absorption and all, good chewing. When I used to do the walking streams, it was kind of like the same thing. People would connect maybe after 10 or 15 minutes. Nobody normally connected that early. Plus, it's a Sunday. I never did walking live streams on a Sunday. I used to do them, during the week, Monday through Saturday. I mean, Monday through Friday or on a Saturday. But today is different. I wanted to do it at this hour because just wanted to so I can have the rest of the day. I mean, yeah. Oh well. Let me just eat. I'm just gonna write a message here in the chat in case somebody comes in. I see somebody's already in right now. VG, hello VG. That's the VG I knew from way back when I did live streams back in 2021 and 2022. For some reason, it rings a bell, VG, or was it a different VG? Namaste, VG. I'm just having breakfast. Please ask any questions, whatever you need, while I'm finishing my big breakfast here. Because if not, then I'm going to be, oh, and handsome Wonder Boy. Handsome Wonder Boy, what's up? How are you, buddy? I remember our times talking and chatting when we were in Mexico, there in Playa. How are you? How's the stateside life treating you? Okay, yeah, so that was VG that was always in the chats. Gotcha. And handsome Wonder Boy, handsome B Wonder Boy. There we go. No, I knew it was wrong. I knew it was not just handsome Wonder Boy. It was handsome B Wonder Boy. Yeah, we had a good chats back in Mexico back in 2021 when I was there in June, July for almost 5 weeks down in the Yucatan Peninsula. Donna Beach, how are you, Donna? Namaste. I'm just having breakfast. Please, guys, ask me any questions you have. Life back in the States are going great. That's good to hear, handsome B Wonder Boy. I know you don't like me using your real name, so we'll keep it at that. Keep it nice and private. But I remember we had lots of good chats. Something went down the old windpipe, so I got my mug here, not coffee. It's tea. It's a mix of matcha, vanilla, almond, and strangely enough, I had spearmint tea bag. And whoo, that's still hot. Almost scolding, but no. Nice to see you too. I'm just here at the country house where I live on my father's property. There are two houses here. I live in the small one. He has the big one. And the doggies are around somewhere. Maybe you'll see some over there across the fence because we keep them separated. That's his house with his little jungle-like looking garden. And four of the doggies are right over there. Well, we have to have an internal fence to separate those doggies from the doggies I have on this side so that they don't get into a scuffle. Okay, Stephen, there we go. Good old Steve. Sometimes we just call him Steve, but it was Stephen. Yeah, there you go. And you still like making people laugh. Like Jerry and you were always cracking up some jokes there in Playa del Car. It was hot days. I remember the mistake was good because I made two friends out of it, two friends that I've kept in touch with on and off. It's you and Rob, the guitarist from England. Actually, we after we left Playa del Carmen, um, he went to Mexico City, and then I went to Mexico City, and we hung out there and all of that. Went on some day trips to Teotihuacan, the pyramids north of Mexico City, and to Tepoztlan, a very spiritual town, Pueblo Mágico, a magic town there. Cool. And then we met up again in Nepal last year. I think you remember him, Steve. So please remember, questions you have, guys, about life in Colombia or just want a vacation here, anything, let me know. I'm going to still finish up my bowl of calentado. Oh, okay, so you remember. Good. You remember him. Calentado. I explained it. Oh, I left the word at the beginning of the chat. It's a paisa and maybe Antioqueñan breakfast here for the state or the Department of Antioquia. If you want to understand what a departamento is, department means state or province, basically. in that sense. And like for breakfast, sometimes on the weekend, and even during the week, is the prior day's leftovers in terms of beans, red beans, because here it's red beans and rice and they use it with a scrambled egg or two, but I don't need eggs unless I have to, unless there's no other choice. But this is just beans, rice that I cooked, and some potatoes and some green peas. Okay, Donna has a question. When is the best time to go to Colombia for a visit and tour? Now, you want to avoid the rainy season. And we got some pine needles falling from the pine tree. I'm right under the big tree is a pine tree, and this one is a lemon tangerine tree. These are lemon tangerines. They're a mix of lemon and tangerine, and they're very popular and common here in this area. So Donna has the question. Um, you want to avoid the rainy season. The rainy season normally goes from October to mid-November, and now we're November 23rd, but it has rained a couple of times even in this late part of November, and usually December is dry for a lot of people. So you have two rainy seasons, and Nana touched up on this in one of her videos recently. Nana, navigating with Nana, that it's April to about mid-May, and that's true because they have this very famous like heavy downpour, like heavy rain shower. I mean, rainstorm that causes a lot of flooding in the Medellin metro area, and they have a specific, like, kind of like religious name for it, and I forget what it's called. April to May, you want to avoid coming if you don't want to be, rained out in terms of a visit and tour. From April to mid-May, April showers, and October to about mid-November. Anytime like after the third week of November. Right now, it's still a little overcast, but it didn't rain last night. It hasn't really rained here in the last 2 or 3 nights. It hasn't been raining in the daytime in this area. Medellin might be a little different because it's in the valley. So it depends on where you go. Rio Negro is Rio Negro. Medellin is Medellin. Sometimes it could be raining a lot in Medellin, and Rio Negro is only an hour away drive, and it won't be raining in Rio Negro or La Ceja, and it'll be mostly sunny, partly cloudy, but no rain. Well, sometimes it's raining in the whole area. If you come in December, the month of December, you're going to have a lot of festivities going on. The Christmas spirit is strong in the air. People love it all the way from December 1st onward. A lot of Christmas lights tours for the different parts of the city of Medellin or in Envigado or Sabaneta or here in Oriente Antioqueño. But it's going to be more expensive to come here because airline tickets are going to be more expensive. You have to really buy them out way out in advance, maybe 6 months to maybe get a cheaper price, but it won't be really that cheap. And availability will be very scarce if you wait 3 months or 2 months before you come if you want to be here in December. Now, if you want to avoid all the crowds and all the Christmas stuff, then after Three Wise Kings weekend, it's called Puente de Tres Reyes Magos. Puente means a 3 day weekend, which is Monday with Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And right after that Puente, that 3 day holiday weekend, or that long weekend, then everything dies out and everything's like back to normal, calm, and tourism, the high season goes down, and then hotel prices will be cheaper. Just hotel prices and airline tickets would be cheaper in general than flying over here in December. Another time of the year that you might want to come here if you want to enjoy the festivities here to Rio Negro, especially Medellin, is Feria de las Flores. Feria de las Flores, meaning the flower festival or the flower fair. It's like for like 10 days total, more or less. That's at the end of July, beginning of August. It's always around that time. And there are other towns around the region here that are celebrating their town festivals, their yearly town festivals. So there's a lot to do during the month of July and during the month of August. If you want to see the festivals and you want to see the spirit of festivity and people are coming from the States on vacation. So, of course, also airline tickets are going to be more expensive at that time of the year to come here during the months of July and August because a lot of foreigners are coming here from Europe, from Canada, from the US, and people that have, let's say, been living in the US and have children there already, and they come here with their children or with their grandchildren to visit because they're Colombian American, like my family. Summertime here is all the time, Donna. Summertime here is all the time. Oh, and Stephen is saying that I have you hooked on Rio Negro. That's your plan B after your Asian adventure. Cool. Yeah, you were telling me you want to go to Asia back since 2021 when we were talking there in Playa del Carmen in Playa. That you wanted to go out to, I think, Thailand, is it, or Vietnam? I think it was Vietnam because you had been there before. And Rio Negro is much more mellow than Medellin. But Donna, the whole year here is summertime. I mean, in Medellin, the temperatures are always, Fahrenheit wise, around, anywhere from 75 degrees to about 86, 87 is the average, like in that range, 80, 75 degrees Fahrenheit to about 85. That's kind of like a range. But when it really gets hot once in a while, when there's a heat wave, a Colombian heat wave in terms of heat wave for this region in the Andes Mountains. Remember, we are in the longest mountain range in the world, and it has so many different climates, from desert like conditions to jungle like conditions to forest like conditions to whatever, subtropical, etc. And the Medellin metro area, Medellin, the city of Medellin, the city of Envigado, the city of Sabaneta, the city of Bello, the city of Itagüí, the city of La Estrella, they're like small cities or towns, but they call them ciudades. The temperatures there are much warmer because the highest elevation down at the bottom. I mean, the lowest elevation in Medellin is 1,600 meters above sea level, 1,600 meters. But you can start going up the mountainside in Medellin or Envigado, and the temperatures will get cooler because elevation will start getting higher, start climbing up. And there are places in Medellin that, like a place called Santa Elena, like Santa Claus, Santa Elena. That's about 2,300 meters above sea level. And that's Medellin. It's just all the way out in the outskirts of Medellin, but it's Medellin. It's part of Medellin. And the temperatures there don't go beyond 75 or 76 degrees Fahrenheit during the daytime because it's way up and just a lot of green in between. So that's the weather here doesn't change, Donna. Like Nana has said on her channel during the live streams or in her. Oh yeah, handsome B Wonder Boy. Yeah, let me finish the Nana thing. She says that the temperatures are different. It's always eternal spring in Medellin, and in Rio Negro and Retiro, it's always eternal spring, but the different stages of spring. Like in the United States, me having been born and raised in the U.S., I went through 25. Years of seasonal change when I born and raised there, and when it's early spring, like the end of March, beginning of April in Europe, in New York and New Jersey, the temperatures are still cold. Maybe not snow anymore, but once in a blue moon, you might have one of the late snowfalls in late March, and it's spring already up in upstate New York or whatever, or PA in Pennsylvania, up in the country side of PA, or even northern Jersey has had once. A sporadic snowfall at the end of March or very beginning of April, but it's still cold temperatures all the way until May. Even in early May in New Jersey, New York, temperatures sometimes are just like 71 degrees for a high or 72. But then late spring in New York City or up in Jersey and whatever, like late spring, like the end of May, beginning of June, that's when they open up the beaches and the weather starts warming up, and then you got temperatures around 82, 83 degrees Fahrenheit late May, early June. But here that doesn't happen. It's always basically the same. There are no big changes with the stuff here. You're not going to get any snow up here. And Rio Negro, I do offer office services. Like, what kind of services do I offer? I offer relocation tour services. That means I go out in the vehicle I have and I show people the places they want to see. Like one service is showing people part of Oriente Antioqueño, and I offer a 5-hour service, but I'm not going to talk about prices here. That's just for anybody seriously interested. Oh, I hurt my injury. If any of you saw the video from 2 weeks ago that I posted when I was in Concepcion, Antioquia, I had a fall at the waterfall and I busted my leg open, my lower leg on my right side. They're still healing, but they took the stitches off this last Tuesday, and I just hit it by mistake with my other leg and it hurt a little bit because I really had a nice gash. But we were doing a hiking thing and everything. So what I was going to say is, oh, one of the things I don't like about neighbors in Colombia is sometimes they like to play the music really loud to bother people. Let me just eat this up before it gets cold, and I'll answer that question about the services I offer. Can you hear the music? I hope not. But if you can, it doesn't matter because I can always delete this live stream as I have if it goes with the copyright something. But it's my neighbor just playing the music loud, not super loud, but just loud enough to annoy a couple of neighbors. And this is the countryside. One thing about Colombians is that Colombians are very happy people. I'm a Colombian American, but I'm very American because I was born and raised in the U.S. I grew up in South Carolina, where people taught you about respect and being neighborly and always saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir, good morning, ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, holding doors open for people. Hmm. I might have to relocate this thing to another section for a moment. This is a lemon tangerine tree. That's the tree behind me. Lemon tangerine tree. I wasn't typing anything. I thought I was typing. Lemon tangerine tree. They call it in Spanish limon mandarino, which limon is lemon and mandarino means tangerine or mandarin. I'm trying to see where I'm going to take this thing to. Give me a New York minute while I try to move this thing because I just like it when I don't have so much noise blasting, but the neighbors playing they're kind of like the little, I don't know if it's Colombian hip hop or whatever, but I just don't like it. Maybe change of view a little bit here, but this is kind of like an incline. I don't want to fall over. There we go. I think. Oh, no, this is not even land. I'll be back in a second. I gotta go get the chair and the other stuff. Shanti, excuse me, baby. I can't bring my computer chair because I'll be rocking and rolling in the wrong direction. Oops. And I gotta get out a little thing because now the sun is shining a little bit and I gotta get something to clean the screen. There's been a lot of dust flying around here. There we go. Yeah, thank you, Chandu. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you here. And Vanessa, too. Vanessa, thank you for the good words about that is healing. Yeah, I'm not going to show it, but if you ever saw the video, I didn't even show it there. I just showed with the gauze bandage over it and I was taking my antibiotics and everything. So, yeah, this is uh, the rest of the property is bigger and everything, but this is not leveled. Remember, this is in the mountains. For you to have land that is just leveled, you would have to have a bulldozer or one of those natural phenomena where the land is leveled. But this is the mountains. Mountains are constantly growing over thousands of years, hundreds and thousands of years, and millions of years. And the landscape is rugged and beautiful, good for hiking, great for hiking or mountain biking. So, yeah, I was saying that Handsome B Wonder Boy or Steven, excuse me, Steven lived in Cuenca, Ecuador. I remember you told me you lived there for a long time. Very similar to Weather Medellin, Eternal Spring, yeah. And I was saying that I offer 5-hour tours, because the distances are far and wide in Oriente Antioqueño. Let me just write that for some of you who don't understand what that means. Oriente Antioqueño. I can pronounce Spanish well because I've been speaking Spanish ever since I was a child, because I grew up listening to my mom and dad speaking Spanish. My brother and I grew up like that in the US, but our main language is English. Our native language is English, but our mother tongue is Spanish. But English is the language because, we were born and raised there. We grew up in South Carolina, then in New York as teenagers. I left when I was 19 back down to South Carolina. I mean, down to the South, not to South Carolina precisely. So Oriente Antioqueño, and this is Oriente Antioqueño is big, but this is cercano a Medellin, as they call it, cercano, meaning close to Medellin, and that is El Retiro. El Retiro, Rio Negro, La Ceja, Guarne, the township I live in, Guarne, Marinilla, which is next to Rio Negro, to the right side on the other side of the highway, and El Carmen de Viboral. These are the closest towns to Medellin, and San Vicente de Ferrer, but that's not really attractive right now for people. But I'm going to make a video there in the future. But I just did film a wee bit, just a wee bit, when I was passing through in the truck when I was going to that hike 2 weeks ago that I had the accident. Are there companies that can help you move your possessions once you are living in Colombia, like if you had to move apartments? Donna, as Nana has said in her videos before, and she knows more about that than I do, you can always reach out to her. I've never heard of any companies that do that to this part of the world. All I know is that people have done is just send a container, but that gets really expensive and it could get really tricky with Colombian customs. Sometimes they will withhold your container. You might be sending like a big pallet or whatever, wouldn't crate, a big one with furniture and stuff. Like I remember my uncle, he moved from New York, Manhattan to Colombia back in '96, and it was difficult for him. I remember going to the airport with him because he sent a big crate. It was a big crate with furniture, clothing, decoration things like chairs and whatever that old school stuff he had that belonged to his partner that passed away, that had been handed down to his partner. Uh, that his partner was an American, and he wanted to bring all these things, these paintings, and it was no picnic, and it was expensive back in those days. And I don't think, because see, right now there are very few people moving to Colombia with their possessions, with all their possessions. That's why there's no service that I know of. I've never heard of one. But you can always contact this guy, Andrew, as well, at Medellin Buzz. That's his channel. I don't know if you have ever seen his channel, and he does real estate and everything with foreigners, Americans, Canadians, or whatever. Maybe he knows. Do try to contact him because he's working in that thing. But I know that most people that are selling their possession, I mean, selling their apartments in the U.S. or homes and have furniture that they want to keep, but it'll be cheaper just to buy furniture here. It'll be cheaper and more and very, very, very high quality. And you can buy furniture like in El Retiro, where Nana lives in the town. They're famous for making very good furniture, and they have a lot of furniture shops. Or even IKEA is now present in Envigado. I just went the other day to IKEA. I had never gone to an IKEA in my life, never. And I went to one, not even in the States, when I lived there back in 2010 and to 2012. And I decided to go to IKEA here. And I bought, and they have so much furniture you could buy there, but it's, a lot of this furniture is you got to put it yourself together or pay them, which would be more expensive. But you can always buy good furniture in Rio Negro, in Medellin, in El Retiro, and cheap and good compared to US prices. And you wouldn't have to go through the whole hassle of bringing your stuff. Nana said it herself. She said it herself in a few of those videos that it was easier for her just to sell everything and give away some things to her family and friends and just bring the essentials she had, because she had already come here on 2 occasions, like to travel to get the gist of the place, to get the feel of it. And she saw that she could buy cheap furniture compared to the US, and high quality and much prettier, because they have very high styles of decoration and design here in the Medellin and Rio Negro metro areas. Oh, thank you, 750 Norton. Thank you very much for the $10 donation. Any donation that I get during the live stream that any live streamer on YouTube gets goes 100% uh to the vlogger, to the person that has the channel, because it's a donation. Thank you. Unless something has changed between last year and this year, which the rules are always changing on YouTube these days. Do you also assist in helping to find rental apartments? Okay, this is another question that Donna has. I have a person I know that could help us find something, because I have talked to this person. That person has a real estate agency, and I'm planning to make a video with him soon. But he doesn't speak any English; he only speaks Spanish, and he could help us possibly find. Because I talked to him initially, like about a month and a half ago, about this, and I said if it was possible for him to find somebody that was willing to rent out an apartment to a foreigner, because foreigners don't have credit history in Colombia. So how can any foreigner rent an apartment here? The only way you can really do it is through Airbnb, and those prices are really jacked up these days. They're much more expensive than a regular rental through a regular, rental agency. Like my brother and I have a property in Medellin, and somebody did tell us, "Hey, why don't you put it up through Airbnb? Why don't you just have it as a listing?" As if, look, we can make a lot of money off of it because it's in a prime location in Medellin, a very good area of Medellin, not in El Poblado, but another area that is growing fast and very good. And we decided not to, because it's too much of a headache to be dealing with all these things and people that don't want to leave sometimes, or destroy the apartment or the house, destroying things, and then they leave. And how do you get them? It's a headache. So, and I have a phone number that I saw in one video. I don't have the phone number, but I have it on video. When I was making a video, I was on my mountain bike back in July, and there was a banner on the side of the road, between the road that goes between the highway and the airport, the Jose Maria Cordova International Airport in Rio Negro, and there was a big banner in yellow with black letters saying that they rent out furnished and unfurnished apartments and whatnot. And sometimes you can go through that, and you don't have any middleman, like Airbnb or a real estate agency. The other way, I mean, I can help out with contacting that person for any person who's interested, and seeing what kind of rentals they have to offer, and what are the prices, and what are the locations. And I know the locations around here. I know the neighborhoods in general. And I could tell you if it's a good neighborhood in Rio Negro, or in El Retiro, or in Medellin, or in Envigado, or in Guarne, if it's a good area or not a good area to have a rental in terms of you feeling safe, secure. You don't want to be renting a nice apartment that is cheap but in a bad neighborhood, unless you're okay with that. Yeah, Stephen. I mean, I could help you find it. I have I have never done that before. I'll be honest with people. I have never helped anybody look for a property here to rent out, because I mean, I started offering my services for tours, walking tours, and whatnot back in January of 2022, when I came back from Mexico, and I was living with my mother because she was injured. She had injured her arm. She had fractured her arm. When I came back from Mexico, I wasn't planning to live with my mom. I was just planning to be up here at the country house and travel around the country a little bit before going back to Mexico, and then going onward to India, because Stephen knows that, if you remember, Stephen, I was telling you that I was going to move to India, but I was in Mexico because India had not reopened their borders yet to tourism, to visa holders and whatever. So I couldn't go anywhere, but I wanted to be in Mexico. And when I was with mom, living with her, taking care of her, and then she got sick and she had these other complications and she passed away in 2023. I remember I offered my services a few times at the beginning in January, but nobody really contacted me. And then my mother really started getting sick, not from the fracture that she had, because she had a nasty fall and fractured her arm before I came, like a week before I came back into Colombia, because I came back to Colombia in December of 2021. And I stopped offering those services because my mom, I had to work a lot, and we had a daytime nurse taking care of her. So I only started offering these services again when I saw that I'm back in the country. I'm not going to live in India anymore. I don't want to live abroad. Well, I am living abroad. I was born and raised in the US, but I'm living abroad in Colombia. I've been living abroad since 1995 with a 2 year stint from 2010 to 2012 in New Jersey, having returned to my country of origin, the US. But I love it here. I love life here. And I started offering the services in April, and things have been picking up. People have been contacting me, interested in knowing this. I've been here for a total of 27 years. In case you don't know, some of you, I've lived here for a total of 27 years, not continuously, but since '95, I've been here for 27 years total now. So Hanson B. Wonderboy said, if I'm willing to help him negotiate his living accommodations, yeah, I'll talk to the person that I know that has the real estate agency. I'll contact other people. I can talk to Nana, that she has a couple of contacts possibly, and I'll talk to her and see what she can help me out with in terms of pointing me in the right direction to talk to people about rentals, about getting a nice rental. Because, like I said, Airbnb is very expensive. If you have the budget for Airbnb, then by all means, Airbnb does do 1 month rentals, 2 month rentals, long term rentals. Another way that we can do that I forgot, but I'm just remembering right now. Let me see if this is dirty. Um, Probably a little bit. Where's my little thing? And I'm gonna clean the lens a little bit. Y'all just give me a second and the screen, because I live in the country, so it's dirt, road dust flies all around the place, and that's just part of life in this country. But I prefer this to having all that nasty grime and dirt from the city, which is a bunch of smog and whatever going in my face. The air quality in Medellin sucks. Let me just tell you that. But the air quality in Retiro or in Rio Negro or here in Guarne, super great. Super great. Usually, if you look on AQI, Air Quality Index, or some other website like that, you can always type in like the air quality for Medellin, the air quality for Rio Negro, and it will show you the differences. In Medellin, sometimes it's in that orange zone, like 80, 90, 100, or 70, whatever, 60. And Guarne or Rio Negro or El Retiro are usually like around 5, 10, maybe 15 in the green zone. Nice air. You don't feel like you're choking or gagging on any kind of smog and schmog. Hey, Vincent, Vince, what's up, Vincent? How are you? Yeah. Well, let me see. Some more people came in and are leaving comments. I got to catch up. Got to play catch up. I'm not as well known or as popular as Nana, but she's great. She is great. I ran into her. Yeah, we've talked. She's a good person. If I was going to advise somebody on how to go about beginning to research the area, begin with a visit to the area and have 3 or 4 areas, maybe fewer to focus on with your help as a guide. Yeah, well, I mean, I tell people, look, like Nana says it, other people say it. This guy Andrew from Medellin Buzz says it. Life with David says it. I has said it. I've heard it in 1 or 2 of his videos. I don't really watch him much, but once in a blue moon, I watch what they're saying and whatever. Also, they have information that even me, after 27 years here, might not have. But I get a lot of information from my family and friends because I've been here 27 years. I have a lot of roots, a lot of connections, a lot of people. I mean, connections, friendship connections. And I hear all the stories and what's going on, this and that. Rental prices are going up big time in Medellin and in Envigado, like a good rental for a very nice apartment in El Poblado, which has many neighborhoods in it. El Poblado is more like a region of Medellin, like a sector, like in India. Like if you're in Chandigarh, it says Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, and some of these sectors can be very big and have different neighborhoods in them with different names. So El Poblado is like a sector, or comuna as they call it here, and they saying $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That's crazy. I mean, it might be cheap for an American salary. A guy that's making maybe $4,000 a month or $5,000 a month might say, "Oh, that's good." But for a Colombian, $2,000 to $3,000 a month, that's a lot of money. You gotta be making a good salary in some company. You gotta be making like 12 million pesos or 13 to be able to afford an 8 million peso rental a month, because $2,000 is give or take couple of 100,000 pesos, whatever, it's about 8 million pesos. Right now, the dollar is a little weaker against the Colombian peso, and that's good for us living here. I don't make dollars; I make pesos in terms of my regular job as a teacher. So yeah, look at a couple of options. Nana says it. I will say it repeatedly. I'm saying it now. I've said it before to people that I've had video consult calls with, video call consultations. Basically, that's the way to say it. And it's good to see a few areas like a tour, a relocation tour that I just had with a client last weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend. Uh, it was 5 hours, and I picked up the person at the hotel that person was staying at in the airport area, and then from there we went to El Retiro, and from there to El Retiro it's about a good 25-minute drive, 20 to 25 minute drive because it's not close by as people think. It's 25-minute drive. And from El Retiro, we walked around and we saw a couple of places, and the person got an idea about El Retiro, and then we drove to La Ceja. That's another 25-minute drive approximately. And in La Ceja, we stayed there for like about an hour or so, and that person got to speak with two of the like about seven of the locals. One group was like this youth parish center group of kids that are like 19 to 23 years old, and they were selling like obleas. They were raising money funds for Christmas presents for underprivileged children in La Ceja, and they were selling these micheladas that are non-alcoholic. It's just like juice with something, whatever. They call them micheladas, but not the alcoholic kind. And obleas, which is like a round thing. Um, and they have two of them like a little saucer type, like a little flying saucers, like a frisbee looking thing, but flat. And they put milk caramel sauce on it, blackberry sauce on it, and condensed milk sauce on it, and then some type of Colombian cheese that is soft and a little moist. And boom, and she enjoyed it. This person loved it, and talking to them because this person understands a little Spanish. It's important for you to really learn Spanish. Vince was also here recently, and from that part, we went from La Ceja, we went to Rio Negro, and I showed the person a couple of other projects. I showed her the projects that were available in La Ceja for apartment buildings and everything, and townhouses in gated communities and ungated communities. And then I showed her the ones in Rio Negro. She saw San Antonio de Pereira, and we went to El Porvenir, and then that was it. And we covered that in 5 hours without having to run. And she was able to enjoy it. She got a good gist, a good feel for La Ceja. And this person had already been here to Colombia twice before. So the person is doing more reconnaissance. You know, you gotta not come once. I would recommend, like Nana has said, and she did it as well. Come like at least twice, and on one of those days, like on the second stay or the third stay, come and live here for 3 months. Get a rental for 3 months, and see how you really like it. If you really like the area that you want to make home in the future, the place you want to call home down the line. Yeah, I'm living the good life. Definitely. I was just talking about that with my little brother this morning earlier. He lives out in Jersey. Yeah, it was crazy. I could not live there ever again. But go back on vacation for 2 or 3 or 4 months to tour around, do my spiritual stuff. Yeah, definitely. And my hiking and mountain biking up in the Himalayas, definitely. Gracias, Vincent. Vince. Muchas gracias, hermanito. Muchas gracias por todo. Vince came out here and he enjoyed it. And he knows Colombia already. He's Colombian American. So there we go. Born and raised in the States just like me. Ja Bishek. Oh, Bishek from India, coming to Colombia in March. I'm just looking at this. I'm just catching up on the latest comments. If I missed one, please, guys, let me know. Because right now I got the glare of the sun in my face. The sun is starting to shine through the clouds now. But it didn't rain last night. Abhishek. Namaste. Vaisab. Kaise ho? मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ मैं खुशी हूँ आज मैं खुशी हूँ. I'm speaking in Hindi. I just haven't studied any Hindi in about a month or so, but I can get by with Hindi. I really practiced a lot when I was in India and Nepal for the 8 months I was there back in 2023 to May of 2024. Loved it, but not to live there. Yes, I know lawyers. 750 Norton. I know a lawyer that I'm going to be doing a video with soon. His name is not his wife is the lawyer. They have a business. It's Roger Schmidt. He's a CPA, a certified public accountant from Switzerland, and he has been living in Colombia for many years now. He married a Colombian woman from the Medellin metro area. She is a lawyer, and she deals with the immigration visas and this and that, and he deals with these other things. And they have a team of about 7 people total, and they have one office in Envigado, and the other office is in Santa Marta on the Colombian coast, Caribbean coast, up in the north of Colombia, north of Cartagena, north of Barranquilla. And I met him in person because we have a mutual friend in common, and my friend recommended me to him. And I spoke to Roger Schmidt back in September, and right now he's in Santa Marta. He's supposed to be coming back now this week to Envigado, and we're supposed to get together probably next weekend or the weekend after that, so that we can make a video because he's going to interview me for his channel because he speaks in German because he's from Switzerland and he deals with a lot of German clients and Swiss clients that want to come and live here to the Medellin metro area because they like it, because they like the weather and everything, or to Rio Negro. And I'm going to interview him for my channel so he can talk about the services he and his law firm accounting company offer. They offer immigration visas, marriage visas, all that legal counsel with, and the work, the real estate stuff, taxes, buying property, so you don't get duped and all of that in terms of the legal parts. And they have a nice team. I met him, and I met his wife and one of the workers there that day. So his name is Roger Schmidt. Let me write down the thing so you guys can contact. Look for the website. You can just Google it. It's autarky. Let me see if I'm spelling this right. Autarky. I think it's .co or .com. I don't remember if it's .co or .com. Try both. Oh, but the autarky. And he also has a YouTube channel uh, talking about the stuff he promotes in English or in Spanish. Oh yeah, now the glare of the sun is starting to get me. I just don't want to move back up to the under the tree because my neighbor was playing the music pretty loud a few minutes ago. But I have to go probably to the shade. Give me a moment. I'm gonna go back to the shade because the sun is starting to beam up. You can say it's beaming on my face, and I'm having a hard time reading what's here. That's You gotta move it, move it, move it. So there goes one of the girls right there. That's Parvati just relaxing there in the sun. See, the thing here is that I got the neighbors really close on one side. I don't like it, but hell, I'll take it. I prefer to have my neighbors far and wide in every direction. If I could have my neighbors like at least 2 blocks in each direction, far from me, I would be a much happy camper. But this is life. Give me a moment, y'all. I gotta go get the chair. Give me a moment. Y'all, I had a spill on the Major Deegan Expressway here on my chair when I was moving it in my mug. So I got to go get a rag and dry it up. All right. Spill has been cleaned up. So, yeah, Roger Schmidt. Look for that company. And he's been in business for like 10 years now with his wife. And he speaks very good English. And he can help you guys because he's not Colombian. He's Swiss. He's a Swiss man. Roger Schmidt. Thank you, Stephen, that you believe in my ability to deliver, my abilities to deliver. Yeah, I enjoy being able to help people out as best as I can. And this is the business I'm growing now as the tour man for relocation tours and walking tours. Walking tours are just people who are coming here on vacation, are not planning to live here to relocate to Colombia. They don't want to relocate to Colombia, but they would like to have a vacation and be shown around some of the touristy areas in Medellin and whatnot, or even here. Like the walking tour would just be walking, not in a car or in the truck or whatever, just walking around that we would meet up. I did that with Dan back in July. Dan was just interested in going to Comuna 13 and whatever places we could go to. And that day we did like, because he just wanted to, we did just Comuna 13, walked around, we just chilled there, talked to the locals, had lunch. He treated me to lunch. It was good. We met up at the metro station and it was a good thing. And that was a walking tour. And I've done, and that's what I offer walking tours, relocation tours, which would be in the vehicle and then getting out in those towns or some neighborhoods and walking around a little bit so the person could get a feel of it, the gist of it, breathe it in, not just everything from the vehicle. And the video call consultations for people who want to consult first and ask a lot of deeper questions. And I do have a fee for that for 1 hour. So if anybody's ever interested, remember in my videos, the contact information is there, or I write it here in the chat anyway. It's nothing strange. My email is this. Let me see. Yahoo. Well, and the Instagram for some people who use Instagram is this. So anybody that is serious about coming this way, living here, whatever, or just for vacation and wants to tour around, I'm available and we can talk. I want to open an Indian restaurant. Which city would be good to go? I have a moderate budget. Well, Abhishek, Indian food is starting to gain popularity. If you can get, if you come with your family or some family members like Indians normally do when they go to other parts of the world, make sure they're good cooks because people want authentic Indian cuisine. Like there's a restaurant that is doing very well and is by a Indian family. It's called Zaika. They have one location in Medellin, and recently they opened up another location in a trendier upscale area of Envigado, which is Alto Las Palmas. And recently made a video, and I briefly showed the restaurant because they had some copyright music playing, so I couldn't. And I've eaten at Zaika down in Medellin in El Poblado, and great. It tasted just like the food I ate in India, like a thali or a veg biryani, and samosas, and I think they had kachoris as well, and the paratha, and the chapatis, and the rotis, and they didn't have gulab jamun, which is one of my favorite Indian sweets. But Medellin is very expensive, but you can open up maybe one in Envigado, which is next to Medellin. It's going to be a little cheaper for rental space. Or you can open up one in Rio Negro, but I don't know how well that would do. Bogota is very expensive. Medellin and Bogota are very expensive for rental spaces in terms of commercial shops or stores and also for just living rentals. Because see, Medellin brings in a lot of foreign tourism. Medellin, after Bogota, I mean the three major cities for tourism, international tourism, meaning a lot of tourists come from the U.S., Canada, Europe, are Bogota, Medellin, and Cartagena. It used to be Bogota, Cartagena, Medellin, but Medellin overtook Cartagena. So Medellin is in second place. And so far this year, they said that Medellin has had like over 1,500,000 tourists. Medellin alone, not Colombia. Colombia had like 4 million last year total. But to Medellin this year alone, 1.3 or 1.5 million. I think that guy Andrew on the channel Medellin Buzz. Remember, check out Medellin Buzz. I don't really. It doesn't bother me if I promote other channels, whatever. I'm not here. It's not a cutthroat business. I'm not competing against anybody. If people feel that I'm competing against them, okay, that's that. I'm just doing this for as a hobby and as a business of offering my services. And the YouTube thing is just a hobby and helping you guys see more travel through me to Colombia, to this area. So Abhishek, the three most expensive and most popular places and that Indian cuisine restaurant could have a chance of becoming successful, because there are no guarantees of any place becoming successful, any business anywhere, are Bogota, Medellin, and Cartagena. And I would say Medellin would probably be Bogota, and Medellin. After that, you're not really going to have a lot of international travelers going to Armenia or Manizales or Pereira or Cali. They have much, much, way less tourism in terms of, oh, the doggies are all getting crazy. There are like 13 dogs here. One current issue you're curious about is some reports of growing anti-foreigner sentiment and immigration interviews at the airport, turning some people away and making them fly back to their origins. Well, I haven't heard about that. I mean, I haven't heard about that from people. I mean, if you're coming in from the U.S. or Canada or Europe and you look decent enough, it might be from certain countries that they're targeting. But anti-American, maybe at the airport, maybe they'll ask you some questions. But if you get crazy or don't provide the information they need, then of course any immigration officer at any airport in the world has the right to turn you back. That's in the U.S., that's in Canada, that's in India. And then my neighbor's playing the loud music again. I gotta shift somewhere else. Now I'm playing Coolio's gangster song. I mean, I never met a man who didn't deserve it. There we go. I just don't want to be inside the big house because there are 10 dogs over there and then they would be making a lot of noise. And then over here, the little one, just, it's not appealing to my thing because I'm still under construction. One thing at a time, one day at a time. Let me go get my chair. I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, Gangster's Paradise. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out where I place it because the sun is hitting the laptop. Don't want the laptop to get overheated. I've had too many investments lately to be make it to, that I have had to make, so I don't want to do any unnecessary investments in a new laptop or whatever. So I'm in the shade here. Oops, and this seat is sinking into the muddy, little wet floor here. So yeah, we were talking about getting turned back. No, I mean foreign sentiment. No, not really. Even Andrew on his channel was talking about that. Check him out. He had this recent video about 18 shocking truths about Medellin, Colombia, or whatever. He just posted it like 2 days ago. Medellin Buzz. He's got a lot of informative stuff too. I'm doing my stuff. He's doing his. I mean, I got my style. He has his style. But he gives good info. But I haven't heard of the people that I know getting turned back. But it might be coming from a certain country that might be on the watch list for Colombians. But right now, the beef between Trump and Petro, that's between them two. But Colombians in general have always been very friendly towards foreigners, and especially because a lot of Colombians have the American dream. A good percentage have always had the dream of living in the U.S., having a career there, or just going on vacation. Because some Colombians love Colombia so much that it wouldn't even cross their mind to live outside of Colombia. They're like, nah, I just want to go on vacation and see what all the fuss is about in terms of the U.S., the land of milk and honey. And a lot of people here, a good percentage of Colombians have ties to the U.S. because they have family living there. It could be a father they have living there, or a mother, a brother, a sister, a cousin, an auntie, a grandpa, a grandma, friends, and whatever. And they have a lot of connections with the U.S. It's always been a good relationship between Colombia and the U.S. Never a bad one. There are small pockets of people that don't like Americans or don't like foreigners, just like in any country. There are pockets, small pockets of people that don't like foreigners for whatever reasons they have. And unfortunately, there have been a few foreigners giving the rest of the foreigners a bad rep because those few foreigners have been in the news for being uh, sex mongers, being having stuff with underage girls and stuff like that, and they're giving the rest of the foreigners a bad name. But most people here know that it is not like that. I never catch any slack. People see me on the street, and most people think I'm American, a foreigner, and they never give me any problems. And I've been here for 27 years. And at the airports, never had any problem coming in or leaving Colombia. So it might be the occasional person that has had a problem coming into the country and being turned back. That happens anywhere. Let me see what else is in here. For a 2 month stay, do we need a visa? Look, Donna, visa on arrival. When you come in as an American, if you come in as a U.S. passport holder and whatever, you get automatically like, usually it's 90 days. They give you 90 days. If they decide to give you 60 days, then you can always extend it for 30 more days. You just have to go to one of the immigration offices and make the payment and whatever. And like they have these places that you can do it at. I forgot where they are exactly. I remember when I was first a tourist here, not a citizen. I became a citizen in 1996, like 6 months after I got here, because I could only stay here for 6 months maximum on a single entry. And I remember I had to extend. I got 90 days initially, and then I had to extend 30 days 3 times. And I almost ran out of time. And my mom was sending me the documents from the U.S. My birth certificate being born there had to be translated into Spanish and blah blah blah. But no, you can stay up to 180 days in one entry to Colombia. Not a problem. So you'll get the visa automatically when you land here as an American at the immigration desk when you're doing immigration process, and they'll just stamp it into your passport and that's it. And you'll see how many days they give you. And then from there on, if you want to extend it another 30 days when the time comes, you do it before it expires. You try to go about a week and a half. Like there's one group called Medellin Expat or something. I made a video about getting visas and everything. It's in that video. The name of the company that I used back in 2020, in 2019 to renew my U.S. passport, and they do it with everything from extending visas. Even Roger Schmidt, his wife, and everything. They do that service. You can always contact them at Autarky, the company, the name of the company, the law firm and accounting firm, and they'll do it for you, and they'll charge you the fee and no problem, and boom. Thank you. My Hindi is decent. Thank you, Abhishek. Bahut bahut dhanyavad, bhai sahab. Joe Fu, you've been to Antioquia once, coming back early December. Hope to catch up with you and utilize your services. Of course, Joe, I'm here. Just let me know. Let's do. Remember what I tell people: if we're gonna do a tour like I have had with previous clients, we need to do a video call consult. Like just if you're already sure that you want to do it with me, then I need to see a face on screen because unfortunately, Colombia is not the safest country in the world and is not the unsafest, right? And there are a few people out there that will try to pass themselves off as somebody else without you ever seeing them on screen. And they might try to do a funny one on me. So I need to see who you are, not just the little profile picture that I might see on the WhatsApp or whatever. But the initial communication would be through email and whatever. and a couple of questions, and then WhatsApp, and then we could do the video call consult, which would be like 20 minutes on WhatsApp or through Google Meet, and that's how I see a person live in the living color through the screen, and then I say, okay, I can definitely meet up with this person because it's not it's authentic, and then that way I feel secure. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm a big man. I'm a fighter. I'm strong, but I would rather avoid the nonsense, avoid the stress. Oh, you saw the football match where Colombia beat Chile 4-0, 4-0. Yeah, football is the greatest sport for me in terms of team sport. It's entertaining. It's active. It's fast. It's not boring. But unfortunately, some of the Colombian soccer teams here, football clubs, are boring. It's like they're lazy. I prefer watching European Football League or English Premier League, but I only watch it when the old man is here, when my father's here, and I'm visiting him in the big house, and he's watching it on his TV because I don't have a TV. I don't like TVs, but I think I'm going to get one maybe in a year or two, just so I can watch certain videos about whatever on YouTube. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear all the noise in the background. Can you hear the music? Let me know if you can hear the music because now they're playing some other hip hop, but I'm kind of a little far away from it. At least the little house I live in is as a buffer, like buffering out most of the sound. Let me know if you can hear it. All good? Thank you. All right. That means you can't not hear it. Okay, cool. Medellin is Colombian Mecca. Medellin is Colombian Mecca. Yeah. Naan, kulcha, tandoori, roti. What is your favorite? I had kulcha back in Amritsar, and they gave me one of those. I had kulcha at one place. I made a food tour. If you go to see on my channel, on this channel, if you go for the Amritsar Amazing Food Tour, that's the name of the video. Let me write it down. And I show that I'm eating kulcha at one place. Amazing. Okay, what is it? Amritsar Amazing. Well, for anybody who's interested in that, because I'm a vegetarian, so all I eat is vegetarian food and make vegetarian videos. I haven't made any in Colombia recently, but I'm planning to go to Zaica maybe in December with some friends and make a video there about Zaica in down in El Poblado. But there are many vegetarian restaurants in Medellin and in Envigado, and vegetarian options in some other restaurants that are not vegetarian. And there are many vegan restaurants too in the Poblado area. Sorry if I'm speaking a little fast. Another idea for getting your feet wet, so to speak, is street food vendor. People can make good business with decent food cart in a good area. Oh yeah, that's an idea too. Thank you for that idea that you're relaying to Abhishek. If you can get a license from the government, local government, to have a street food cart or something bigger, and you don't have to spend so much money, but you got to know where you put them. These days, things are more regulated in terms of street side stuff and whatever. You got to really know where you can start it up or start off with a small shop, really small, and to see how it grows. And if it grows better, if it gets better in terms of the Indian food you're offering, then you can do it. Like in Medellin, areas you might want to investigate, Abhishek, the areas in Medellin would be like around near Provenza, Provenza in El Poblado. These neighborhoods are in El Poblado, near Provenza, maybe a place to rent in the future, or Manila neighborhood in El Poblado, Manila neighborhood. A lot of backpackers go there and everything, but I haven't seen an Indian food restaurant there yet. A couple of vegetarian ones, one vegan and two or three vegetarian and whatnot. And a lot of backpackers from different parts of the world go there because it's cheaper than Provenza, and it's only like about a 15-minute walk from each one. Go to Laureles, and there are many areas in Laureles where you could probably find there are these food areas, and you could maybe get a good rental, not as expensive as Poblado, but still expensive. Or Los Colores, where I have my property, my brother and I. That's an up and coming neighborhood in Medellin. It's not El Poblado. Laureles is not El Poblado. They're in a flat part of Medellin where it's flat valley. Let me see what else somebody say here. I have to let me see. How good, eh? Un poco sí. You can hear the music, but can you hear the lyrics clearly, or just the noise in the there? Because if I go into the house, it's going to sound louder. Yeah, it's just neighbors. They bother me. If I can't go to the other house because too many dogs around and they make too much noise. Oh well, it is life. I'm not gonna move around that much because I'm on. I got flip flops on right now, sandals. These sandals are funny. They're old and dirty. They look dirty and everything. I bought them in Udaipur. I needed a pair of sandals. I bought them in Udaipur for like, I think it was like 120 rupees or maybe 150 rupees maximum. I think it was like 100 rupees for these things. But here, because I'm at the countryside, they're dirty. I clean them and they get dirty quickly because it's the countryside, dirt and everything. No, I don't have a regular job. I'm like semi-retired these days. I only teach English, my online classes from 5 to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday here from home remotely. I teach my classes, but I'm always available, like with no work or whatever on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Or if it's during the week, like if it's a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, or somebody wants a tour on a Thursday. And like I tell everybody in general, we have to start the tour anyway early. It doesn't matter if even on the weekend. Got to start that tour around 9 or 10 a.m. max because we do a 5 hour tour where they be down in Medellin or up here in the Rio Negro area. And that's going to go from 9 to 2 p.m. or 10 to 3 p.m. And I finish at 3:30, 4 p.m. This is the idea to finish because if I'm driving, I don't like driving at night. I hate driving at night, so that's one of the reasons why. And if I'm doing it during the week, I need to finish around 2:30 p.m. or so. And if I'm Medellin, so I could come back home and avoid traffic, and I could be ready for my online classes, which are my regular students, not sporadic, but regular classes that I have throughout the year with students, with people that I work with. I work with another law firm, but they're into the tax law stuff and a little bit with real estate, but mostly tax law, but not immigration stuff. I work with a law firm. I've been working with them for 4 years now. Coming this ending this month is 4 years that we've been working together, me teaching them English. So I do the services mostly on the weekend, but I can do that during the week too. Many thinks Indian food is spicy. Yes, it is, but there are 100 of other options. If a Colombian eats cashews, lily fox with milk and arroz, they will forget pojo for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, for some like Amritsar, very spicy. When I had that kulcha in Amritsar, another one, different one, not the first one that I had, but the second one I had, it was a different variation of a kulcha. It was super spicy for breakfast. I could not finish that thing. I had to leave half of it. My mouth was literally on fire. I had to drink a whole bottle of water. Not to kid you not. And my tolerance for spicy food went down big time. And I used to love spicy food because I used to eat a lot of Mexican food and spicy and whatever. But Indian food is in some areas is super spicy. That's why I used to say, "Nehi garam masala, nehi garam masala, nehi spicy, nehi, or nay. Jiro masala, garam masala. Garam is like hot, and masala is the spices. And sometimes they say, no, my friend, no problem. Very little spicy. Yeah, very little for you, but big for me. So I just like, I eat the food that I know that is not going to be spicy for me, like poha or poha pakwan in Pushkar for breakfast or a good thali and everything. And other stuff like Raj Kachori, or Dal Bala. What was it? I forgot. Dahi Bala, or Dahi Puri. Oh, Dahi Puri, one of my favorites. Tried vegetarian once and lost muscle cause I didn't know what I was doing. I've never lost muscle. The only way I lose muscle is if I stop working out. I'm just not as big as I used to because I don't do physical weights like I used to. I do light weight training and a lot of yoga, stretching, hiking, and mountain biking, push-ups, calisthenics, stuff like that. Let me see what else is in here. Los colores, yeah, there we go. I'm close to my 30, in the mid 30. I want to settle in Colombia. 6 or 7 years. Yeah, take your time, save up a lot of money, have a good cash cushion. Can't hear music. Okay, good. You can't hear it. That's good. Perfect. No issue. Got you. It doesn't seem there are many flying insects. No mosquitoes. No, no. Donna, I remember you had that question, or somebody had it on Nana's channel, navigating with Nana. No, right now I have no socks on. I just put on this long sleeve shirt today, which is the kind of clothing I used to wear when I used to go physically to offices to teach English, because I used to teach at engineering companies, law firms, and whatever, power companies. Oh, this chair was starting to sink into the ground. And I don't want to have a Humpty Dumpty fall. Let me just switch it around. And, I used to go dressed casually, but nicely dressed, always with my long sleeve shirts with a collar, with my Tommy Hilfiger, Polo, Ralph Lauren shirts. Still have them. I just don't use them much anymore, except for when I'm working online teaching classes or when I have a special event to go to. And yeah, so mosquitoes, no, no, not here, not in this area. You might have mosquitoes once in a while if the area is warmer, much warmer, like maybe down in Medellin, and definitely down in Medellin. If you're in the lower part of Medellin, like around Laureles, Los Colores, Unicentro, Conquistadores, those areas, or the low part of El Poblado, which is Manila, and because it's warmer there, and maybe there's some water that's held up in some places, so that might be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Then you would have them. But around here, there are mosquitoes here, but they never bite because I see them in the house a couple of times. The small ones flying around, but they never bite. I've never been bitten by a mosquito. Sometimes they bug the hell out of me at night. Once in a blue moon, they're flying around my ear, and I hear the little buzz, but they never bite. I never wake up with mosquito bites. And sometimes you see the big ass mosquitoes, they bite even less. I think they're just hanging out. Maybe they bite fruit. Maybe they suck the life out of a fruit, but not out of people. But when I've gone to other areas like in Envigado or Medellin, where it's warmer, or like when I went to Jardín, there are mosquitoes there that do bite. They do put the sting to you. Durga Puja. What month is Durga Puja? Like in February, March? I forgot. Yeah, let me see. So, no, no. Many flying insects? No, no, there are very few. Only once in a blue moon, there are not mosquitoes here, but there are like these little black flies, like small little black insects, like little flies that they do bite hard. But that's after I have cut the grass, or when the grass has been cut, that they're all like riled up. But I'm right here outside right now, and they haven't bitten me, and my ankles are exposed right now because I don't have any socks on. And no, very few insects around here. I've never had problems with a bunch of flying insects. Just a few, and they don't really bother me. Kolkata. I have to go to Kolkata. The closest I was to Kolkata was in 2019 when I was in Bhubaneswar and in Jagannath Puri, down in the state of Orissa or Odisha. One of these days, I'll go to Kolkata. It seems very interesting to me. I would like to visit. I've seen a few videos here and there over the last few years by different travelers, and it seems Kolkata is a very nice place that I would like to visit. Let's see when that happens. I'm planning to go back to India, but I just don't know when. I even recently started a buy me a coffee page, but I'm not really promoting it. Maybe one of these days I'll conjure up an image and put it on one of my videos and put the link in the thing. Buy me a coffee is a page, a thing that people can, let's say, contribute, donate money to, whatever it is, like a tipping system for their favorite content creators or somebody they appreciate a lot for one video, whatever. And I've seen a few people that use it over the last 2 years. But I got my regular day job. I got my property and I got the service that I'm going with. So it's not like I'm pushing buy me a coffee into people's faces. I forgot that I had it. And I just started it like a month and a half ago. But this is the best way. During the live stream, any donation given, like 750 Norton made that $10 donation near the beginning of our talk in the chat here. that goes directly to the content creator, in this case me. So if you have favorite content creators out there on YouTube, like Navigating with Nana or Medellin Buzz or whoever or whatever in India or in the US or in France, and you want to show appreciation during a live stream, if they do live streams, they get 100% of the money. Google, because I don't want to talk about this, but Google what it is that somebody gets with the super thanks, how much the content creator gets and how much the company gets. It's a business, and I get it. I'm okay with it. Yeah, in general, Colombians eat bland. It's good food, real food, but not spicy. That's true. Colombian food is not spicy. Most Colombians do not like spicy food. They don't. They don't like it. They like stay away from it. That's why I say you have to be very careful at Abhishek where you're going to open up that Indian restaurant. It's got to be a place where it has a lot of foreign tourists passing through. Like in Bogota, certain areas of Bogota where the tourists go to, like La 93. In Bogota, La 93 is a long avenue street, and part of it, La 93 in Bogota, where a lot of the foreigners, in addition to the locals, go to bars and nightclubs and restaurants. And that's where you would have a good chance of getting foreign travelers from the US, Canada, Europe that love spicy food, love Indian food, to go into your restaurant or a little food shop. If you have a little, like a hole in the wall, like you begin with a hole in the wall, like a small little space, and just offer like to go, to go, to go. And if your business starts to take off, then you can just, expand it into a bigger shop with a couple of tables and you grow progressively. Don't go putting all your eggs in one basket, as the old saying goes. And they're playing the music much more loudly. When is Durga Puja anyway? I forgot when Durga Puja is. Ma Durga, like Ma Ganga, Ganga Ma, Durga Ma. Let me see. During India journeys, did you have your birth chart read according to Vedic astrology? No, I didn't. I wasn't really into that at that moment. I wasn't doing it. Mm, I say, is there a diner style restaurant in Oriente or Medellin? Oh, Rene, how are you? Rene from New York City, I guess, because you got Rene 1, New York City 550. Namaste, Rene. Namaste. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo está todo? Oh, my neighbor turned down the music a little bit because they were blasting it. It's like they listen to a lot of old school hip hop. Man, I do wish I'm a hermit. I'm more of a hermit. Still social. I'm not antisocial. I'm just anti-societal. I don't like to be around a lot of large groups of people in general, unless I'm in India when I want to, for Diwali or for the one the puja in October when Ravan, when the Ram and and Hanuman defeat Ravan, the evil king from Sri Lanka. I forgot what the name of that was. I saw that in Rishikesh. I was there down at the in town by the marketplace, and I filmed it. I was there. I forgot the name of it. Memory. Let me see. So diner style, yes. If you go to Envigado uh, I forgot the name of it. It's in Envigado. In Envigado, uh, like a block away. I'm just texting this in the chat box. A block away from Calle de la Buena Mesa, you will find an American diner style place. It's got that 50s, 60s look to it, like with the motorcycle outside with the Harley, and inside the diner style tables and the colors, white and red or white and blue, I forgot, and the old jukebox and everything, and the whole get up. And they offer burgers, fries, shakes, all American style, steaks, stuff like that. I'm a vegetarian, but I'm telling you what it is. So they have that one place that I remember clearly having seen like that, a, a diner style restaurant, definitely. But in Oriente, I have never seen one yet. I'm trying to think. It would be a good business to open up for somebody, but it's a lot of hard work. You have to be a slave to the restaurant business. I would never open up any type of physical business because I'm tired of having worked and dealt with people. And I worked in the restaurant business when I was in the States, Burger King. I worked at TGI Fridays. I was in the catering service, doing catering and everything. And no, thank you. That's not for me. But for Abhishek that wants to do it, or any of you, yeah. I'm trying to think. In Oriente Antioqueño, there might be one between La Ceja and Rio Negro, but I haven't seen one yet that I remember, like a Johnny Rocket style diner or American style diner. No, can't recall. Only in Envigado. Thanks, Stephen. I think you already left, but thanks for having come, brother. Until next time, Stephen. October. Okay, that's in October. Durga Puja's in October, Abhishek? Okay. They don't buy vegetarians because there's no iron in my blood. Oh, there's plenty of iron, man. I'm like the Iron Man, Tony Starks. I get my iron from spinach and other stuff. I eat a very balanced vegetarian diet. That's why I don't get sick in in those regards or have any anemia or whatever. I eat a lot of fruit, a lot of veggies, a lot of beans like rice. I mean beans like red beans, yellow, the other type of beans, frijoles de cargamento, black beans like caraota beans, a lot of lentils, a lot of chickpeas. Yeah, sometimes I get quinoa in there. I a lot of fruit, like I said, a lot of avocado, a lot of sometimes spinach here and there. Um, Lots of tea. Sometimes I make my own masala chai and everything, but I don't drink milk. I do eat like dairy milk derived products, but I don't drink milk directly and stuff like that. Let me see. I mean, I'm still strong. Well, doesn't look like it with this, but I haven't done any weights or any workouts since I got injured because the doctor told me and the nurse as well, don't do any strenuous activity right now. So I can't do any mountain biking, can't do any hiking. So I'm gonna wait one more week until my cut is fully healed and the scab is gone. I've been a vegetarian since 2010. I have been a vegetarian for 15 years. I became a vegetarian just out of compassion, love and compassion for animals, not for any religious reasons and nothing like that or any trendy style, just because I love animals. And I did the research. I tried to become a vegetarian twice before, but it didn't work. Yeah, Renee, I lived near the George Diner and the Sage Diner. There are two diners. Sage Diner, I don't know if it still exists, over there by what Lemoore East used to be, the nightclub. Lemoore East on Queens Boulevard. There are two diners. The Georgia Diner, which is closer to the Macy's Mall, or I don't know if that's still there. I haven't been to the U.S. I mean, I haven't been to the New York City area since 2018. That was the last time I was there because the last two times I have gone to the U.S. was just Miami, and that was it in 2019 and in 2023. Miami, Florida, but not New York. New York, I haven't been there in 7 years. So the Sage Diner and the Georgia Diner. Georgia Diner was the one we normally went to, but the Sage Diner, once in a while, we would go there. Let's see. Renee, are you Colombian or are you just American or are you of a different background and American? No way. 750 Norton. I should open a restaurant. No, thank you. In Indian, nothing. I am as free as Leonard Skinner's Freebird. If y'all know Leonard Skinner, the Southern rock band back from the day that some of the artists, some of the band members died in that airplane crash in the 70s or whatever it was, early 70s or late 60s. You know, Sweet Home Alabama, Simple Man, Freebird, The Ballad of Curtis Lowe, excuse me, not Curtis Blow, but Curtis Lowe, all of that, and Freebird. I'm as free as a free bird. I had nothing to tie me down really in terms of businesses and whatever. The only thing I have right now is the responsibility with the doggies, but the old man is right now in Medellin, but this is his property, and these are our family doggies. And whenever he comes back here and he's done with his business in Medellin, and then when I need to go traveling to India again, and Nepal, and Asia, I will because he'll be taking care of our doggy family. But I got nothing else. I got no other things. I'm not a married man. I don't have a woman, a live-in girlfriend, nothing. I am as free as a bird, and that's the way I aim to stay. And no physical businesses for me. As physical as I get is with the relocation tours and walking tours, and that's it. But no office. 31 years, Jeff in exile. Would you consider yourself enlightened? Have you seen, experienced the light self on your own or with the help of a facilitated guru? First of all, if I ever considered myself to be enlightened, I would be lying. I would be a liar. That's a trick of the mind. And no one that is enlightened will ever tell another person that they are enlightened because nobody would ever get it that is not enlightened. I can't say that I am. I can't say that I'm not. And it's just I'm just on my own spiritual journey. Each path is individual. Forge your own path. I did have a guru before because I was part of the Hare Krishna community. I was a Hare Krishna or what they call Bhakti Yoga. I was a Bhakta and I became a Brahmin, a Western Brahmin, because I had my guru, part of the disciplic succession. I'm not into any of that anymore. I'm a free bird, like I said. Let it be clear. I'm affiliated to no religion or to no spiritual organization, group, path, whatever. Um, I just do my stuff. I do my meditation. I do my thinking. I do my sadhana. Sadhana is the spiritual life that I live, the spiritual practices I have. But I follow nobody. But I did have my guru. He was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, the Indian sannyasi, the Indian monk, the renunciant monk that left India in 1965 on the Jaladatta tanker ship from all the way from Kolkata or somewhere all the way to Boston Harbor and then finally to New York City in 1965. And he started the whole group that really brought Hinduism and that version of Hinduism. Hinduism is not a religion. I'm not going to get into it, but it's just a word that covers a bunch of different spiritual practices in India. Just like baggage, when you talk about baggage or luggage, you're talking about a bunch of things like one word that covers backpack, tote bag, duffel bag, box, stuff that you're carrying on a trip through an airport or through a ship or bus, the luggage. So I'm not enlightened. Am I enlightened? I don't know. And if I were, I would never say that to anyone or lead anybody to believe that. Each person has to find their own path and nobody is going to enlighten anybody. It's not like you touch somebody, oh, now you're enlightened. The Buddha said, follow nobody, follow your own path, forge your own path. Take what you need and leave what you don't. There are teachings out there that can help, but don't become a believer or a follower. Just do your own thing. Saint Francis of Assisi, Flushing is foodie heaven. Flushing, New York. Well, I remember my dear friend Kenny from high school. You'll be seeing him again in a video that I edited recently. It took a long time and it says, why have I been making videos since 1990? And you're gonna see him at the beginning. It's him, and I put the text on the screen that these are my besties in high school. Kenny, Filipino descent. He was from Philippines. He was Filipino, born in the Philippines, and immigrated to the U.S. with his family, with his mom and dad when he was 5 years old, and then his sister was born in New York. And Brian of Indian Portuguese descent. His family is from Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of Indians immigrated to Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean coast, right off the coast of Venezuela, up there in that area. And then his older brother, I think, was born in Trinidad, and his mom and dad for sure, but they all had Indian features, Indian physiology, and a little bit of Portuguese because I could see the Portuguese in him more than I could see it in his brother or sister or mom or dad. And he was born in New York, and so were his two younger siblings. And my besties in high school, definitely. There was one in ninth grade before Brian. He's of Haitian origin. He was born in New York, but his mom is Haitian. Charles. Charles, forgot his last name, Bouchon, Haitian American, but his mom was from Haiti, a nurse. And then after that, my besties from ninth grade on after him were Brian and Kenny. Kenny passed away in 2021 when I was in Mexico. And he took me to Flushing. I had been to Flushing so many times before as a kid and teenager, as a 12-year-old, and then as a teenager. And then I went out with Kenny back in 2018 when I was visiting. And before that, I went I think once with him in 2011 when I was living out there, Kenny usually went out to New Jersey to meet up with me once a month or once every 2 months so we can play billiards. I would pick him up in the car because he would go by train from New York on the New Jersey Transit to New Jersey, and I would pick him up at one of the stations near where I lived, and we would go play pool and shoot the breeze, eat at Taco Bell, eat somewhere, and just reminisce wrestling memories. Kenny was a great friend. He never lost touch with me. He never lost contact. He would always call me, and we would shoot the breeze and talk. And he always had these jokes. He was in the U.S. Navy. I was going to be a U.S. Marine, but I never did get into it because I got steered away from it. And Brian was in the U.S. Army as a gunnery sergeant on a Hummer. Gunnery. I don't know if he was a sergeant, but yeah, Flushing, great food, foodie heaven for a lot of different types of food, especially Asian cuisine. No, I don't want to have a live stream with my old man. This is no new. This is no secret. I don't get along with my father. My father and I really don't get along. We have big differences, but I'm here out of compassion for the dogs to help him out so that way he can go about his business in Medellin and in Canada, and he doesn't have to hire somebody that we don't know that might not take good care of the dogs. And I'm here, but I don't get along with him. I'll leave it at that. Maybe in 2 or 3 years from now, you'll be watching a video where I talk about that in depth. But for now, nah, I'm not gonna have him on any live streams. No, thank you. Born in New York City, Renee says mom moved to Medellin and grew up there until we came back at 11 80s. I have been here since, but looking to retire near La Ceja. We bought a lot last year and started to build soon. Oh, great. So near La Ceja, meaning near the town itself, the urban area. You're out in La Ceja, but out in the countryside, in the rural area. Or are you in another town? Because the towns around La Ceja, I mean, the other towns are basically La Union, all the way up the mountain, all the way higher elevation, just very local. Very, I mean, I haven't seen any foreigners up there in La Ceja, except for ones that go for a day trip, but nobody that I know living around there in La Ceja. I mean, in La Union, potato land country. They're famous for their potato festival in July, Fiesta la Papa. Somos buena papa. There's an expression. Somos buena papa. That means that we're good people. Papa is just an old colloquial or slang word for a person. Él es buena papa. Ella es buena papa. Very old school. Like you could say, ella is buena papa. Papa means potato. It doesn't mean literally that she's a good potato. It means she's a good person. Él es buena papa. In that town, Union, La Union is a town, dairy land, and potato land. So there you go, Renee. Renee, are you a man or a woman? I'm just remembering because I used to have a girlfriend. Her middle name was Renee, but I know Renee could also be a man's name because I knew a man by the name of Renee. He was French, and his name was Renee. Maybe pronounced a little differently and spelling a little different. But are you a man or a woman? Just curious. You mentioned that when you were part of the Hare Krishnas, you became target of potential violent people. What happened there? Would violent part of the Colombian society ever become sattvic? Uh, Talking about the three gunas: Satya Guna, Taja, Tama, and Raja. Raja and Tama. Tama being the lowest. Tama Guna, Raja Guna, and Satya or Sataguna. I forget how you pronounce it now. Wow, I studied this so much when I was a Hare Krishna. No, people here don't are not really, let's say, violent against people because they have different religions. No. The only thing they don't want you to do is go preaching in very Catholic towns like El Retiro is heavily Roman Catholic, heavy. They don't want any Hare Krishnas or any Jehovah's Witnesses going around there preaching a different way of seeing God or whatever you want to call it. So they will let you know, hey, stop that. I remember a couple of the Hare Krishna brothers when I was a Hare Krishna, they told me that you can never go preaching the word of Krishna to El Retiro because the townspeople or whatever would come up and say to you, look, we're not interested. Please stop and leave before it gets ugly. That's they would give a warning first, and then the Hare Krishna, the Brahmins, uh, the brahmacharis that were doing Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, singing the holy names of Krishna. You know the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. They would say no, 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 and because normally when the Sankirtan group went out, to preach and sell little books and sell cakes and sell cookies and vegetarian sandwiches or veggie burgers to raise money for the temple in Medellin or one of the temples. And they would dress in dhotis and kurtas and have the tilak. I used to do that because I was a pujari at a temple in Medellin. I was a pujari for the Shri Shri Radha Kira Chora Gopinath Mandir in Medellin. And no, they don't want to see any of that stuff in El Retiro. Rio Negro might be more open to it, or Medellin for sure. But there are certain areas where you don't want to go preaching what goes against the heavily established way of seeing God. You don't want to, as I remember my guru saying, because I don't follow any of this anymore. I thank my guru and whatever for showing me the way to India, because India was never on my radar until I became a Hare Krishna. And thank goodness for that it did happen, because I would never have really considered going to India. And I went there for spiritual purposes, the spiritual journey both times, and enjoyed the other part, the tourism, not just spiritual stuff, but enjoying the places like Jaipur, the Pink City, going to the Amer Fort, going to the Nagar Fort, or going to Pushkar, going to Udaipur, going to Varanasi, Kashi, going to Bhubaneswar, going to Delhi, going to Mumbai. I've been to those places. Awesome experiences. So many nice people, Indian people. If you have experience with paisas and Antioqueños that are super, I mean, nice people here compared to Americans and Canadians, very friendly people here in the Medellin metro area, Rio Negro metro area. Very nice folks in these mountains here. I don't know about the rest of the country in general. Cali are more or less nice. Pereira, Manizales are similar to Medellin because they're an extension. They're descendants of the people here from the Medellin area and Envigado, whatever. Very nice people. But I had never met such nice people as I did in India. Such friendliness, hospitality, way more. And I'm not talking about in the hospitality service area in the hotels. I'm talking about people that didn't know me would invite me into their homes to eat something, to drink chai with them, help me out so easily. Very nice people, and they didn't even know me. And they would just meet me, and after 10 minutes, please come into my home. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Really? In the States, people don't do that. In Colombia, because all the violence that has happened here over the last 40 years, with all the stuff that happened before with the notorious people and all of that, people are very skeptical of inviting you. They might invite you into their home after a couple of weeks of knowing you, or a couple of months, if they get to know you well. But in India, it's like right off the bat, the same day, please, my friend, please come into my house. Ow, go into my house. Ow, mera gar, kripya, and whatever. You're like, okay, cool. And introducing you to the whole family and everything. And you're like, okay, wow, off the bat. And then some people asking me, "Are you married?" It's normal in India. No, I'm not married. Do you want to get married? No. Well, we can arrange a marriage for you. We have people. And I'm like, hey, no, thank you. I'll let you know after I die. Very nice people there. So no, you're not gonna experience racial, I mean, religious violence here. It doesn't really happen. There are Christians here. The country is predominantly Roman Catholic, but there are Christian groups, and then there are evangelists. There are Presbyterians. There are a few Jews here and there, a few Muslims here and there, very few Hare Krishnas or different things or whatnot. Sikhs. There's a Sikh place in Medellin, in the barrio, in the neighborhood called what is the name of that neighborhood? I forgot already. Up there by La Ochenta after Colombia, Calle 50, past that. I forgot the name of the neighborhood. There's a Sikh place. I went there once back in 2018 or something for a Sikh festival. And mostly it was just people from there. I didn't see one Sikh in there, but their guru was a Sikh man from Punjab. Out of those towns, Guarne, Rio Negro, La Ceja, Marinilla, which one would you most be comfy in going? Most what? American be? Oh, one would most American be most comfy. I mean, there are more towns here. I mean, it's not just Guarne. Rio Negro, La Ceja, Marinilla. Remember, you have El Carmen de Viboral and you have El Retiro. El Retiro is the highest, the most upscale. It's the most expensive one. An American that has money would be very comfortable in El Retiro if they have no mobility issues, if they don't have any physical handicaps, because El Retiro is on a hill. Most of the town is, especially the town part, the main part, and everything is on a hill. And if you're moving around on a wheelchair or a walker, stuff like that, it's going to be a nightmare for you if you have physical handicap, mobility issues. La Ceja doesn't have really good sidewalks except just right there in the town square for that are ample for people with handicaps. And you have to just ride your, like I saw this past weekend, a person moving around on a little motorized scooter. It was in the wheelchair, but it was like a special, like a little scooter for a person in a handicap. And the person was moving around on the street in traffic, not on the sidewalks, because the sidewalks are not apt. They're crap for that. You would have such a bad accident on those sidewalks. The, but if you don't have mobility issues, then any town, it depends on your budget. If you want something way cheaper and very simple and not so fancy, just very simple life, Guarne is one, Marinilla is another one, El Carmen de Viboral is another one. If you want something fancier and more expensive and fancier places, better cafes, better restaurants, better shopping experiences, and whatever, that would be El Retiro, La Ceja, or Rio Negro. And if you want to have the hospital really nearby, like high quality hospitals and medical centers, then Rio Negro has it all within a 20-minute drive to the nearest state of the art hospital or medical center, Rio Negro. But if you want low budget, cheaper places, that would be Guarne, the cheapest one, followed by El Carmen and Marinilla in terms of lower budgets. And all with great people, very nice. Nice weather. Like Eskimo hospitality. Okay. What is it? Super cold? People here are so friendly. Amina Haswell. Namaste. Hi, how are you? Just got to Medellin with my family, wondering what you would do in first 5 days to settle in. To settle in, I mean, are you here living here now or just here on vacation? Um, that's important to know. Amina, namaste to you. Namaste is like soul to soul, saying I acknowledge that there's a soul in that body. It's like a spiritual hello, or just hi, how are you? Howdy, cómo está? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Qué se dice? I speak Spanish fluently with a little bit of an American accent because it got way better over the years, but it was heavy at the beginning because I had like a high pre-intermediate to low intermediate Spanish level when I got here. But university, when I went to university here in 98, 99, when I started going to university, I really had to read a lot in Spanish and write a lot in Spanish. And I had never done any formal education in Spanish. And that's where my Spanish improved a lot. Plus, I had a girlfriend, Colombian girlfriend for 4 years and some change. We were going to get married. I bought an apartment and all that jazz. And she helped me improve big time because I was always speaking to her in Spanish. She couldn't speak fluent English. She understood, but her speaking skills were not that good. And Colombians, especially paisas and Antioqueños, they're very shy about speaking in a foreign language because they don't like making mistakes. They're very shy about that, and very a lot of them, a good number of are like perfectionists. So they say I have to speak super good English with a very great accent, or I'm not going to speak at all. I'll understand you, but I'll just respond in Spanish. Some of the people used to be like that. Some still are like that. So to settle in the first 5 days, get to know your neighborhood well, the area where you're living. If you're living in Envigado, walk around a lot. Get to know your surroundings so you can settle in. Go to the local shops and establish a relationship. The like the local shops where you're gonna buy your food, like a little local mom and pop shop where you're gonna buy your your fruit and veggies and some groceries, without having to go to the big supermarkets, you know, and all of that. Get to make an a relationship with the store owner or the store clerk of those places. And if you like going to the barber, if you're a man, then get to go into the same barber shop. But the first 5 days is just like the local grocery shop, the local grocers shop, and stuff like that, and just walk around a lot, get to know the place before you start expanding and knowing more. That's what I did when I first came to live here in '95, because I always came on vacation. So I was always all over the place, so I didn't know any place well in general. It was always a little bit here, there, going everywhere. But then when I came to live here, I was getting to know my immediate surroundings, the first, like, the 5 block radius of where I was living, or 10 block radius, to get a good handle on that and how public transportation works. Is there any Hindu temple anywhere in Colombia? There are many Hindu temples here. No, no, because there, there, there are no temples like that. Except if you go to outside of Bogota. I remember when I was part of the Bhakti Yoga movement, the spiritual path, whatever. Uh, Barsana, they call it Barsana or Varsana, but I remember people pronounced it Barsana. This is outside of Bogota, going on the road between Bogota and Ibagué. I'll just text it here, between Bogota, and Ibagué is another city in Colombia. Tourists don't go there. International tourists, foreign tourists don't go there because it's not attractive to tourists unless you just want to be off the beaten path. And this is the place where we used to go do Janmastami every year in, August or September, whenever Janmastami fell according to Vedic astrology, the Vedic calendar. And there they formed everything as close as they could to the Indian style temples and the astrology center, the astrology temple or whatever. Astrology, no, astronomy temple or something. That was the closest. And with the Prabhupada statue figure inside and the temple, that's as close as you get, because the rest of the temples, mandirs in Medellin or Bogota or Cali or Barranquilla, Cartagena, whatever, they're just in a regular building from the area that they have rented out, they have bought, and they get one of the rooms and make it the mandir, the temple, and the rest is like a gurukula or a restaurant or yoga studio, but nothing like the temples in North India or South India. And not that I know of, never seen one. Like in New Jersey, you have like the second or third largest Hindu temples in the world. One in Canada from the BOPS organization right there in Toronto, and the one that is in Jersey, like around Edison or Woodbridge. I forgot where it is, what township. And those are big. Those are definitely representative of Hindu temples in India. But here in Colombia, no, nothing comes even close to the architectural design of those Hindu temples in North India or South India. What else? Great chat, Eddie. Hope you can find time for more like this. I'll try to do it once a month. The chats. Ooh, my chair started to sink again. But my neighbor stopped playing the music, so I think I could go back up to the other place, which was much more comfortable, because it's like sinking into the ground, like there. And if I fall backwards, I can re-injure my leg, and I don't want to re-injure it because I've already been out of action for 2 weeks. In terms of my physical training, my activities, doing yoga, doing my headstand, I was told very specifically by the doctor and then by the nurse this week, no strenuous activity, Eddie. Keep it nice and easy does it. And I love to hike, and I love to ride the mountain bike for 3, 4, 5 hours on the weekends when I don't have any work programmed. I go to Tibetan prayer flags. See, the house is still under construction. This is my father's property. And the second floor ain't finished yet. It'll be a while. Yeah, I guess the neighbor got tired. Wow, the webcam is really picking up a wide angle. There go 11 tangerines behind me. One thing, if you come, like Amina's here right now, if you get this magazine, Informe Inmobiliario, they usually have it at real estate agencies or at the Carujas. Caruja is the supermarket for the middle class and upper class. Caruja. If you ever go to any other Caruja, that's how you pronounce it. Anytime you have a double L in Spanish, double L, together, it's J, not L. That's why some people make a mistake and say Medellin. It's not Medellin, as most of you already know, it's Medellin. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher of the English language for 27 years. So Informe Inmobiliario, and they will be giving you prices of projects that are being offered on paper or already finished up, and they're still finishing up other projects, and they'll give you the prices in Spanish. Desde means from, starting at 452 million pesos for apartments that are minimum 64 square meters. Remember, Colombia goes by the metric system. In feet, I don't know. I can't remember. That might be like maybe, I don't know, 1,200 feet. I have no idea. I've been in Colombia for so long, I forgot about the feet system. I can't really correlate it. I always have to Google it with the conversion. And these magazines, another one is this one, uh, Búsqueda Inmobiliaria. Inmobiliaria or inmobiliario means anything with real estate. That's what it means, inmobiliario or inmobiliaria. So búsqueda is search, like real estate search. And it's a guide for opportunities, used and new. This one is used and new. And you even had the scanner thing there that you can scan and on your phone and get it. And if you're ever going to live here or living here already, but you don't have insurance, but you already have some kind of resident status, Sura is one of the best companies for the public insurance policy, the EPS, the empresa, no, entidad promotora de salud. Entidad is entity, promotora is like promoting, and salud, meaning health. Sura is one of the best ones. And then if you have the money and you're still under 60, you probably can get the prepaid medicine, the private mark. They offer another one. Sura offers another one that is private. That's even better because then you can choose the doctors you want and you can have a better stay at the hospital, your own private room in a good hospital. But if you just got the basic coverage, EPS, then you don't have the right to choose where the hell you want to stay. And usually you have to share a room with somebody in some of the hospitals would be kind of crappy. And you just, but it's going to be more expensive. You probably would be paying about total combined because to have the private insurance, you have to pay for the EPS first if you're eligible for it, as long as you're a resident of Colombia and whatnot, not a tourist, but a resident with one of those resident visas, like the immigration visa, the migrant visa, this and that, or whatever. And combined, it's like $300, $350 a month with both if you want that coverage. Donna asks, yeah, try to be honest, Rene. Try to be honest. No, what the hell? That sounds like sometimes I tell a lie. No, I am honest. But don't believe me. You have to get to know me and feel my energy in person if you're sensitive to people's energy, like I am. If it's good, I feel it. If it's bad, I feel it in general. Not always. Some people are very good at masking their energy. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. On the more on the spiritual side, on Saturdays, I try to post videos. I intend to post videos that are just more life lessons in yoga, spirituality, hiking, mountain biking, and during the week on Mondays and or Thursdays if there's more content to do. But I try to keep it simple because editing takes up too much of my time, and I just don't like sitting in front of the computer, and I just don't want to bombard the channel with a bunch of videos like I used to. Trying to keep it at just one video per week about things, and one in terms of about relocation stuff, tours, and one on Saturdays about life lessons, things, reminiscing, talking about something different. Um, so if I see that there's something I want to reveal, I just stay quiet. Some information you would never reveal to people because it's very private. It's your own privacy, you know. And so you were asking me about Rosetta Stone, Donna, right? Rosetta Stone, if you want to learn Spanish, which is better to learn Spanish, Rosetta Stone or Babbel? I've never tried either one because I'm more of a self-study person, like self-taught. I've learned Hindi by myself. I don't use any apps, so I'm not the right person for that. I did try to use Duolingo before, but I found it to be so boring when I was trying to learn Hindi, and everything was just coming out in the Hindi scripture, not like when I watch videos on YouTube. That's how I learn Hindi. And plus, being in India, practicing Hindi with people in India, in the north, not in the south. I haven't been to South India yet. Donna, the best thing you could do is I've heard a couple of people on their channels promoting Rosetta Stone. One family, I mean one couple. They're called the channel's called Those Happy Days. They do van life, and those happy days. Right now, they're in Canada, and they're a British couple, uh, Janine and Liam. And here and there they promote Rosetta Stone, and they say they use it when they go to different countries to learn the basics. And they say if they had a good time with it. I don't know how true that is because I don't know them personally, so I can't vouch for Rosetta Stone and Babbel. I've never even heard of Babbel. Maybe me babbling a lot. I'm babbling here today about this and that, but I don't know about Babbel the app. But the best thing you could do is if you're going to be living here, before you come here, just try to learn it maybe through YouTube videos or whatever works best for you. If you think an app works best for you, try Rosetta Stone. I know they have like a 30-day free trial or something from what I've heard from them. And I think another family, I don't know who it was. I think it was the Hutchinsons, uh, another British family traveling in the world with their three girls, or was it Bags Packed family? That's an American family from Alaska. Well, they're from the States, but they live in Alaska and they've got three kids and they lived in a nation that they're teachers. And I don't know if they used that. I don't remember. But Rosetta Stone has been promoted by Those Happy Days, Janine and Liam, here and there on their videos. So, and they say it's good. That's as much as I know, but I don't know personally. Let's see. But when you get here, go to a there are Spanish schools for foreigners, like in El Poblado. If you go to Medellin, and it's called Toucan Spanish School, Toucan, like the bird, toucan, like Toucan Sam. And they have classes for or Smart Academy, maybe Smart Academy as a physical place to learn. Smart Academy. Did I write that right? I did it too quickly without verifying. Anyhow, I need your opinion. My wife, 9-year-old son, and I will soon move there. Okay, so you're a man. Renee got you. Renee, what do you think my son's transition will be? He does speak Spanish and understand, but obviously not native. Well, if he already Renee, if he already understands Spanish, but he's not a native speaker. I wasn't a native speaker. I mean, I spoke, let's say, good enough Spanish when I came to live here in 1995, but I had a lot of difficulty, some difficulty communicating some of my ideas when I wanted to have a deeper conversation with people. But by me being here and interacting a lot with Spanish speaking people, with my students at school, with my family, I started to get more vocabulary, acquire more vocabulary. And that's where your son will have the best time being at school. He's going to be learning a lot. And within a year's time, he's 9 years old. A child, female or male, will learn a language very well before the age of 12 if they're in that environment because the plasticity of the brain or of the mind is very good. After 12, it becomes harder to get the accent and to get the whole gist of it. But before the age of 12, if you guys are moving here soon, like in the next 6 months, and he's 9 years old, your son should be, dang, after a year and a half, he should be speaking like a paisa or whatever because he's going to be in school and he's going to be directly immersed in having to learn more Spanish and understanding people more, making an effort until it's finally good. After a year and a half, he's going to be like flying high, soaring through the sky. If your son is open to it, if your son is reluctant, like against it, if he puts up mental blocks, then he's going to have a harder time. It all depends on how open he is to the transition. If he's not shy or has low self-esteem, if he's just confident, like most Americans, we're confident. We go anywhere in the world and we try to speak the language, no matter how many mistakes with pronunciation or with grammar we make, we do it. We don't get worried about that. Oops, my battery saver thing came on. The screen is going to look a little darker, but I still have like 30% battery power before I have to plug it in. Let's see. No, we've been on the air for 2 hours. There we go. Let me see. Caruja. So there's a. Will you be enrolling your son in private school? Rene, basically, your son is you're gonna have to enroll him in a in a private school. Public schools are not that good. There are only one or two here and there that might be good, but people that have money enroll them in a private school. Uh, and if you want them to be in a bilingual education thing, I was a school teacher before I left the school teaching profession and continued being a teacher, but I was a school teacher. And I had a lot of friends even after I stopped being a school teacher. I had two private, they're all Catholic private schools. And it's better for him to be in a co ed school, like Montessori is one. Montessori, I forgot how you spell that thing with two S's or two R's, whatever. Montessori school, it's in El Poblado, between Poblado and Vigalo up there in San Lucas. Montessori school, because he's a boy, co ed. Another one would be Cumbres in Envigado. It's a co-ed Cumbres school in Envigado. If you're going to live down in the Medellin area, the most expensive one, and that's in Envigado, but at the top of Envigado on Palmas Way, that's the Columbus School. But that's an American school, American-run system with American teachers and Canadian teachers and Colombian American teachers. Everybody speaking native English, fluent English, but those are the three private schools like that. But if you're out here in Rio Negro, then it would be, what is it? The name of that school that's over here in Llano Grande? Oh, I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of it. It is El Triángulo. No, I forgot. Memory's not working as well these days. And yes, Donna, I'm being honest. I'm not giving you any BS, any hogwash. Um, in terms of what the question you asked about, which is better, Rosetta Stone or Babbel, I wouldn't know personally. I don't have any personal experience with any app except Duolingo, and I didn't like it. I just don't like using apps. I don't like being on the screen that much, except for my classes, my work, and when I'm watching a video on YouTube and when I'm editing videos. I try to stay away from this. Oh, watching a movie that I like or some TV episode, but I do have a lot of time on the screen, but not with language apps. $199 lifetime usage. Yeah, that's what these guys, Janine and Liam, have said on their channel when they promote Rosetta Stone. But if you do the 30-day free trial thing, you can try it and not have any payment secured, whatever. So that way they don't go charging you for something you don't like or something. I think they have like a free 30-day free trial, like a lot of companies do for that. Well, people, Colombians that have money, any middle class person or upper class family, the people I know, the law firm I work with, the people I've worked with over the years, teaching, because my students have usually been 90, let's say 80% of the people have been from middle class families, middle class neighborhoods, and upper class, like people from a poblado, from really, deep pockets, and these people working in big companies like Noel or Nacional de Chocolates. These are the big Colombian companies here that are Colombian. Uh, Samsela, Kimberly Clark, which is foreign and local. And these people always get their children all the way from preschool, like the daycare places that are affiliated to certain private schools, in there. That way they have a foot in all the way in, from all the way from not even pre-K, just from daycare and stuff like that. And they get them into the schools. Like if it's a girl, they got the all-girls schools that are good, like the Marymount. If it's just the girls, the Marymount School. Mount, I think it's with an H. I can't remember. The Marymount. And that's high class, really expensive, really top-tier education. And then to get into university, into the good universities, it always looks good on paper if they graduated and with good grades to get into the good schools like Escuela de Ingeniería de Antioquia here in Medellin or Envigado, the Engineering School of Antioquia, to get into UPB, Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana, or to get into EAFIT. These are the private universities, not public universities, to get into those. So private schools is what they usually go with. And I was a teacher at two private schools, San Jose de Las Vegas, San Jose. I was in the feminine section because when I started teaching there, they had just started the masculine section, but they're different. They're two separate schools, the same name, San Jose de Las Vegas. I started out as a kindergarten teacher. I taught pre-K and kindergarten for 2 months, but then they transferred me from the boys' school because that was just the first two promotions. They had kindergarten and pre-K, and they started the year before I started working there. And then that school got that little place they had for the children. They transferred it up to Envigado to the top of El Escobedo Hill, the masculine section, the boys' school. So I worked in the girls' school, and it's a good school. Not the top, but it's among the ones that people look for their children, their women to be in, their daughters or sons to be in. Another one was Los Alcázares. Los Alcázares. I forgot how to spell this. It's like a Spanish name from Spain. There's a place in Spain, and this is part of the Aspiren group. Aspiren is like a religious organization, and I was with the all boys school there in Sabaneta back in 1999, long time ago. So people that have money definitely place their kids in private schools. The education is better in general. It depends on the private school. Not all private schools really have good education. And then their chances of getting into a good university, private ones, I mean, not the public ones. Public one is hard for everybody. You have to have super high grades and whatever. So definitely a bilingual school. Yeah. So Montessori, Cumbres. If you're going to be in the Medellin metro area, meaning Medellin, Envigado, Sabaneta, Itagüí, La Estrella, all this, then those are the three schools in terms of co-ed, co-education, right? Co-ed, that you have men and women. And Cumbres is in Envigado, in a good area of Envigado, up and coming, just high-rise apartment buildings and gated communities of apartment buildings and houses, townhouses, and stuff like that in that area. And I'm trying to remember what other school, Montessori, um, Montessori. The Columbus school is very expensive. That's mad expensive. That is where la creme de la creme, the elite of Medellin, the super millionaires of Medellin have their children going. That is very expensive school. You have to have super deep pockets to get into that school. You got to pay the they call it la acción, like the share have to be a shareholder. It's not a shareholder really, but it's like they call acción into that school. And then a monthly payment is also crazy expensive. It's not cheap at all, but more accessible, more affordable. I don't know how expensive they are today, but not as expensive at the Columbus school would be that. But if you want to send your kid to another school, but you need to always have public transportation, like they got the school buses, not the yellow buses like in the U.S. That doesn't work here. But got these little minivans, and sometimes some schools have these big buses. That depends on the school. Oh, the other school that's in Medellin is San Ignacio. San Ignacio is also a good private school. There's a Jesuit school. San Ignacio is a Jesuit school. And I have a student that just graduated right now. He is my student until a couple of weeks ago, and he was my student for 3 years. Um, and he loves that school. He speaks highly of the school. San Ignacio is a Jesuit school. It's right there by the stadium metro station, Estadio. It's a very good school. It's private, not as expensive as these other three. But if you're going to be living in Envigado, then your child will have to, be picked up by the school transport that works that area. They outsource the transportation to these people that have their private little vans to transport children to school. Or if you want to take your kid to work and everything, you're going to have one day a week that you can't take your kid to school in your vehicle because that's pico y placa. Pico y placa, for those of you who don't know, pico y placa is that one day a week from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday, one day a week. You cannot move around in the Medellin metro area, meaning Medellin, Envigado, Sabaneta, Itagüí. I don't know if Bejo's included in that and what other. And you can't move around that day in your private vehicle unless it's a natural gas vehicle, a vehicle that is running on natural gas or an electric car or an electric SUV. And you can just take your child to school every day and pick them up every day. But that would be a lot of time spent if on doing that. To wear Faye Bender, how are you? Namaste, namaste. Yeah, people love to wear cologne for men and perfume for women. Yeah, I was one of them, but all the way from the States. My father kind of like instilled that into me because he used to love wearing. Now he does it, but he used to have cologne, and my uncle too that lived in the States for 20 years. My uncle Memo, Guillermo, but his nickname is Memo, short for Guillermo. Anybody that has a they name Guillermo, Guillaume, like a French name, Guillaume, Guillermo, they call him Memo. Some friends and whatever, and they like to wear cologne. And women, my mother used to love wearing perfume all the time, so I got it from them. So I was wearing cologne from the time I finished high school. I didn't really wear it when I was in high school. I didn't wear cologne going to high school. Only when I went out, maybe with a girl or something, which was maybe twice in my life when I was a student in high school. I was such a geek, such a nerd, such a shy guy. Well, not such a geek because I had bad grades my last 2 years of high school, but I was very studious before that. So yeah, have you noticed that? Yeah, you're allergic to synthetic fragrance. Of course, people here in Canada do, but many don't anymore. It depends. But if you're in a company, if you're going to a company and you're hanging out with office workers, the men and the women, perfume, cologne, body splash. I don't use cologne anymore. I mean, I got cologne there. I got gifts, cologne gifts that I still haven't opened. Just guys, I don't. I'm a hermit now. I live here in the countryside. I love the countryside. I'm a country boy. I'm a mountain man. Yo soy montañero. Montañero means mountain man. I live here in the mountains. And only when I am going to some maybe a family event or I'm being invited by some people or I'm going to visit like the law firm I work with, which I visit once a year, then I'll go dress nicely with one of these shirts in general. If I'm going in the vehicle, if I don't have pico y placa that day, I go in the vehicle. If I have pico placa, then I just wear more sporty clothing. Yeah, I put on a little cologne, not like I have an uncle. This guy like da 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 da. It's like all over the place. Like, ooh man. But it's not common, at least not the people I know. But there are people that do use a lot of heavy perfume or cologne on them. Wow, I'm enjoying this live stream today. It's been a good turnout so far. I'll do this like once a month, and I'll try to do in December. I'm planning, but I can't do any nighttime vlog, night live streams in terms of walking around like I used to, because right now I'm here alone at the country, here on the property in the mountains, because my father's in Medellin, so I can't leave the dogs alone because I don't drive at night. That's why I don't offer any tours at night or going into the evening because I just dislike driving at night. It just not good for me, and I can't stay down in Envigado at at the home that we have there. My brother and I, the one that belonged to our mother that she left behind for us, and I can't stay down there. Thank you again. Wow, thank you. Um, Thank you, 750 Norton. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated once again. Um, so I can't do those live streams at night. I'm planning to do a live Q&A again in December, at least one, but walking around, maybe it could be in El Retiro. The thing about that is that when you're out on the mobile phone, not with the laptop, sometimes the signal in some area might get a little sketchy and it will be buffering. But it won't be my phone. It will be the signal will be low. Just it happened to me when I was in Mexico. I remember when I was on Isla Mujeres, when I was off the coast of Cancun. I remember I did a live stream on Isla Mujeres. And I remember I had just bought this gimbal, the DJI Osmo gimbal for the smartphone in those days to stabilize the video and everything. And I remember that the thing was buffering and people thought it was me. I was like, no, it's not me. It's the signal that's slow. I'm sorry. And it happened here and there, even doing the live stream in Guatape or doing the live stream in Medellin. Once in the blue moon here and there, the signal is buffering and the connection is kind of lost on my end, but it's not because of me. But I am planning to do a live stream like walking, just walking and showing the sites, whether it be in Rio Negro, like I have done in the past, or in Rio Negro would be better because I could walk around a lot there. Because La Ceja, I would run out of places to show very quickly in La Ceja. Walking around there it wouldn't be like a 2 hour live stream walking around. But in Medellin or Envigado, I can do so much more in 2 or 3 hours on the smartphone with the gimbal in terms of a live stream. And yeah, and Envigado, and maybe I'll do two of them. And I hope I can make some Christmas lights videos at night in Medellin or in Envigado if my father uh, comes for the weekend here in December to stay up here. But for right now, it doesn't look like he's coming at all. He hasn't been here for like 4 months, and he's only down in Medellin. I can always go and pick him up and bring him up, but he doesn't want to come up right now because he's got too much going on. He's got too much on his plate, the old man. Like I said, I don't get along with him. We don't get along well, but I'm doing this for the dogs, and I have compassion for him. I just don't like him. There's a video I made about that that is coming out maybe next year or something, or maybe I talked about it previously. I love all of creation. I love everything, everybody, every person, but I don't have to like everybody. There are people I don't like because we just don't meet eye to eye. Their energy is very different. Some people just don't like me because they don't like me for whatever reasons. And my father's one of them that I don't like. But I'm not going to get into it right now. Maybe in 3 years from now, you'll see a video that I made, but I haven't posted it. It's edited and it's up there. And the explanation will be clear, but I just don't want to publish that video right now. Some people will say, "Why are you washing your dirty laundry in public?" And it's not washing my dirty laundry in public. When you guys see that in the future, if you ever see it, if I ever do publish it, it's already up on the channel, ready to go. But in 2 years from now, then I'll just keep pushing it back until the day I feel I want to. But it's for you to learn from. The point is, don't let people, whether it be family or friends, a partner, don't let them abuse you and abuse you mentally, emotionally, and whatnot. Cut them out of the picture and wish them the best. I had done that already, but long story short, I'm here because of the dogs. Or if not, I wouldn't be here. Thank you, Donna. I hope you have a great Sunday. Hey, guys, if we don't, I mean, I know we're not going to talk again in terms of a live stream until December. Have a happy Thanksgiving, which is coming up next week, next long weekend, last weekend in this month. So happy Thanksgiving coming up this coming Thursday. I did 25 Thanksgivings of my life in the US. Great times to spend with family and loved ones, friends. Well, one of those Thanksgivings or two where I just spent by myself when I was in college down in Georgia, southern Georgia. I wasn't with anybody, so I went to have a turkey dinner when I was not a vegetarian. In those days, at some restaurant. That was my happy Thanksgiving once or twice down in Georgia when I was a student at GSU. Can I recommend a safe private company for airport pickup at Jose Maria Cordova? I offer that service. I don't know of any company that does it, you know, but here's the thing. But my service is going to be more expensive because I have to drive out from Guarne all the way to the airport, which is about a 30-minute drive, and I have a truck. I don't have a small car that is a 1.6 liter engine or 1.3. I don't have one of those small little compact economy cars. I have a truck, and this truck has a big engine, and burns gasoline more quickly, more gasoline, less kilometrage or mileage. And I have already done that once with one of my clients that felt safer, more comfortable with me picking up that person and taking that person to their destination. There's a video that I did about what's the Jose Maria Cordova airport like in Rio Negro. And I talk about the prices there. If you want to check that out, it's on the channel. Because airport pickup, like say if you get a taxi, one of the white service taxis that they're reliable, safe, because it's a whole company, and you got the taxi dispatcher right there. They're official. They're the white taxis with the blue stripe on the side, right there, outside of international arrivals. And they got the dispatch guy right there that has like a vest, a blue vest, and whatever, and says taxi coordinator in Spanish, something taxi coordinador or whatever. And this person says, hey, "This is the next taxi going out. What's your name?" And they always take down the license plate of the person and they say where you're going. They give the price. The price is right now until the end of this year, 120,000 pesos down to San Diego, to any part of El Poblado, Medellin. And further away from that in Medellin, if you go to Laureles or Los Colores, it's going to be a little more expensive. If you go out to Envigado, it's like 140,000 pesos Colombian. I can't tell you what that is exactly in US dollars for one reason. The exchange rate is constantly changing. 3 months ago, you would get 4,000 pesos for one US dollar. Right now, recently, I don't remember at this moment, but recently, like a week ago, it was 3,790. It was even as low as 3,720 pesos for a US dollar. So you get like the day you arrive, that you know you're going to arrive on a certain day, is like the day before you look at what the current exchange rate is for a US dollar in Colombia, and you divide the 120,000 peso price to San Diego, that's the roundabout in Medellin or that area of El Poblado, by that current exchange rate, and you'll get that US dollar figure. If it's going to El Retiro, it's like 100,000 pesos. If it's going to just Rio Negro right there from the airport to someplace in Rio Negro, it's only 50,000 pesos. 50,000 pesos is roughly $13. It's like about a maximum 20-minute, 25-minute ride from the airport to, let's say, the good areas of Rio Negro. Not Llano Grande. Llano Grande is closer, but let's say if you're going to San Antonio Pereira, which is in Rio Negro, or to El Porvenir. Well, Porvenir is closer, but anywhere in Rio Negro is like 50,000 pesos from the airport. Yeah, that's an approximation. Divide by four. That would be an approximation, not an exact number, but an approximation. Divide by 4,000. Divide the thing by 4,000 pesos, not by four, but by 4,000 pesos. So if you see that the price is 120,000 Colombian pesos, 120,000, right? The way we write it in the U.S., 120,000 with the comma, COP. Then you divide that, of course, divided by 4,000, by 4,000 COP, Colombian pesos, and you will get an approximation at this moment in life of what that is in dollars. But I do offer the pickup service, but it'd be more expensive the further we go out. Like if it's from the airport, I mean, me going from here to the airport and the airport to take somebody to El Retiro, I wouldn't be charging 100,000 pesos, which is what the cab company there charges. I would have to charge minimum because I have to pay for parking and everything and a lot of gas going and coming back. It just wouldn't work out for me. But if you feel safe with me, I would have to charge double. So you're better off with the 100,000 peso range if it's just going to El Retiro from the airport. And if it's going to Rio Negro, within Rio Negro, because the airport is in Rio Negro, not in Medellin, you pay 50,000 pesos. I never give out my date of birth, but it is next year in 2026, but I never give it out. Sorry. I just like to keep it very private because of many reasons. But one is I just don't like celebrating my birthday. I stopped celebrating after I was 40. I had my last big birthday celebration when I was 40. I had just come back to Colombia from the US. I didn't want to live in my country anymore, and I relocated to Colombia again. And I had a big party down in Medellin with family and friends, mariachis, all of that good stuff. But after that, I just tell people, nah, don't worry about it. You can say happy birthday anytime in 2026 because that's when I have my birthday in the year. But I don't give out my date of birth. Sorry, but that's just the way I am. I used to be, for a time, I was very private, but I've stopped being so private because I'm doing this on YouTube. So some things you guys find out about my life, and I'm okay with it, but not everything. I got to go in and plug in into the wall because battery is now down at 20% and they might cut off at any moment. And let's see where we can. Oh, we got. There we go. I'm in my humble home. Well, it's not humble, it's just a work in progress. Let's plug it in. I'm doing a Nana one now. Nana has gone 3 or 4 hours. But, oh, well, my phone is charged. I got my computer chair here. It's more comfortable. But I got to bring the desk in because the day is really overcast right now. I'll be back in just a jiff. Got to bring in the desk because that's a wooden desk. Give me another second. I just got to go and do something real quickly. Okay, thank you for your patience for waiting. Computer's charging up now. And let's see, where were we? The white cab is safer than Uber. Well, yes. Why is it safer than Uber? At least in my opinion, I may be wrong because I see that who's asking the question? Jay Munoz. Munoz. We don't have the little mark on the end, but any last name with, I mean, it's Munoz. It's not Munoz, but Munoz. The like Curly from the Three Stooges, Mo, Larry, and Curly. Yeah, like anytime you see that little symbol like above an N, that's the like niño. You don't say nino, you say niño, niño. Oh well, there we go. Yeah, that white cab service at the airport, nothing is ever going to be totally safe because you never know when you're going to have a whack job, a nut job as a driver. I was a taxi driver for a year in New Jersey, and I used to hear from my passengers and from my coworkers saying that they would have those passengers too sometimes because we worked for a cab company together. It was not independent and cab company. And people used to say I was very nice, kind, always clean, whatever. Clean shaven in those days. I don't shave anymore. I like to keep my beard. That daily shave or every 2 days was just, and my skin is a little sensitive and I would get cut up and whatever. And so you never know when you're going to get a whack job in a taxi service. But this is all part of the group. It's all an authorized cab company that serves the the Jose Maria Cordova International Airport. And they have all in their base, their office is right there at San Diego. San Diego is a shopping center, and the roundabout or the traffic circle, they also call it La Glorieta, Glorieta de San Diego. Glorieta means like the roundabout, the traffic circle, the traffic island. And that's where they have the office right there where the cabs leave from the gas station, or right there when they have a collective taxi going up to the airport and you just pay a fraction of the cost. You pay like 20,000 pesos or 25,000 because they fill it up with 4 people. But all of those people work for the company, whether their taxis are independently owned or they're all company drivers. It's secure. They have insurance, full coverage, and all the names and the license plates. And it's not an Uber. An Uber is kind of like a clandestine type of service in Colombia and in many parts of the world. And they don't pay for all the insurance policies that the regular taxi companies have to pay for in Colombia, like this white taxi service. So you're pretty much safe. I wouldn't say 100% because nobody can guarantee that, but you're pretty much safe because sometimes some of these taxi drivers can drive like idiots, overtaking somebody on a solid line, 1 lane road, like 2 lanes, one lane this way, 1 lane that way, and with a solid line on curbs. And if you see that's happening, you say, hey, maneje con cuidado, maneje bien. Maneje bien means drive well. Don't do these crazy things and all of that. In India, it's a nightmare. India is just different. Definitely going to scare the living daylights out of you. You're going to be as pale as whatever, pale face in India. In Colombia, sometimes they will get you a little pale too. Some points here. Let me see. I missed something from 750 Norton. So I say the white cab service at the airport is safer than Uber. Yes. Please be careful. In the video I made about the airport service pickup thing, that I can pick you up at the airport, I think that's the title of the thumbnail. There are sometimes these guys dressed in plain clothes, regular clothing, and everything, and they are offering their services like when you're coming out of international arrivals. They, oh, sir, need a taxi? Señor, necesita taxi. And the police are aware of it. The airport is aware of it, and they don't bother them. But I don't like that because where is the safety in that? What if that person does something to you and nobody ever finds out? Yeah, they got cameras there and everything, but I wouldn't do that. I would advise against it. Me personally, I'm a risk taker, but I know most people aren't. So I would advise against using those people that say, "Oh, I got a car over here, much cheaper, más barato, venga, venga, come, it's parked over there." Pay more and be safer. What else here? Let's see. Going to Envigado, arrive at 10 p.m. Oh, well, yes, Jay, I wouldn't be able to do that. If you needed me to pick you up, I can't drive at night. Take the white cab service to Envigado. Is like 150,000 pesos, if I remember correctly. It's in the video. Look for that video. It's in the video that I posted like 2 months ago, back in September or something. Like, I can pick you up at the airport and I talk about all the prices because the guy gave me the prices there for the white cab service, what they charge to Envigado. I think it's like 150,000 pesos, which is 30 something dollars. I don't know, $38, something like that. Because that is like an hour drive all the way to Envigado. Even going through the tunnel saves you a lot of time. But then from the tunnel, they got to take Transversal Inferior all the way, or Avenida El Poblado all the way to Envigado, depending on what part of Envigado you are going to. That's going to be like an hour's drive. My point is the difference between 3,007 and 4 is minuscule, like pennies. Well, 3,000 pesos, 300 pesos is pennies, yeah. 300 pesos, because 4,000 pesos is like around $1, and 2,000 pesos is like 50 cents, and 1,000 pesos is like 25 cents. So 300 peso difference is like, 12 cents, something like that. Yeah, pennies. What else is being said over here? Money exchange places. Renee is asking, oh, hey, Easy Street with Jen. If you guys want to see, she's got her channel by the same name right there with the handle, Easy Street with Jen. She's based out of Atlanta, Georgia, or right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And she does music trivia night or movie trivia night on Wednesdays, she starts around 7 p.m., I think, Eastern Standard Time. And she does gardening videos and all of that. Check out Jen, Easy Street with Jen. We've been communicating a lot, and we communicate on WhatsApp and everything. And over the years, since she got wind of my channel, I think in 2021 or 2022, yeah. And I go on to her live streams when she's doing the music trivia thing when I can. Lately, I haven't been able to because I've been so busy with so many things to do here on myself, country house chores, cooking, teaching online, ending up very tired and having to go feed the dogs and whatever. And then I'm feeling kind of like pooped out or drained after such a long day. And I wake up very early, do my meditation around 4 a.m. usually. But these last few days, I've been so tired. I've been sleeping until like 6 a.m. until the light of day wakes me up. There is no daylight savings time here in Colombia. Remember that, guys. You're always going to get the same amount of sunlight all year long, all the way from like around 5:30, 5:20, 5:40, depending on the time of the year. You start to see daybreak over the mountain ridge, and then the sun a little while later, around 6 a.m. And then you got daylight all the way until like around 6 p.m., 6:10 until it gets dark. So you always have the same time, same daylight all year long. You're not gonna have any problem with the depression or whatever because it gets dark at 4:30 p.m. No, it doesn't happen here like in the U.S. The further north you are in winter, the darker it gets quickly. So good morning, Jen and Chris. Yeah, yeah. Don't get any money. Look, you don't even have to exchange money. There, right there, when you come out of international arrivals, there is a Bancolombia ATM. Bancolombia is the top bank in Colombia. They might charge more money for withdrawing, making an international withdrawal, because you're coming in with your card, whatever. But if you have a Charles Schwab debit card, they reimburse you, from what I've heard from many YouTube travel vloggers that have the Charles Schwab uh, bank account with a debit card, and they don't charge you the fees. They charge you initially, but they reimburse you for that money. Your normal Bank of America or Capital One or whatever it is, Wachovia or whatever bank you got in your country will charge you the withdrawal fee plus the international one. But this one, you're going to save some money. And you got the Bancolombia ATM right there. When you come out of international arrivals, if you're coming in on an international flight into Rio Negro, into Colombia, right there. And when you get out, if you don't want to take out money from the Bancolombia, you go to the second floor where you got the check-in counters and look for the other ATMs like Davi Vivienda ATM, or you look for the BBVA, the BBVA ATM. They have a couple of them up there on the second floor where everybody comes in to check in for flights. And downstairs is where everybody's coming out from national arrivals and international arrivals, and you can just use your bank card and get some money out. Or in the city you're coming from, if you can get some Colombian money at some local place, like those places that they call them like telefonicas, like back in the past or whatever, to people to call home, or where they send packages to Colombia, because this is a Colombian company. That little shops that are in the places where you have Colombians, a lot of Colombians, like in New Jersey, you have Elizabeth, New Jersey, which has a high Colombian population in there. Or you got Morristown up in the north, I think it's Morristown. Or in Queens, New York, you got right there on Jackson Heights. If you're coming from one of those areas, or Miami, Florida, and you go to one of the places where they got the Colombian shop that wires money to Colombia, maybe they have Colombian pesos to sell you at a good exchange rate, or maybe not. Yeah, Jen, an ATM is always going to be cheaper, but Bancolombia does charge more money from what I've seen over the years. I just normally don't care, but I did look for ATMs, and when I was in India, that charged cheaper, like IS, whatever, or was it the other one? BOI, Bank of India. I don't remember which one it was. Gave me more money and charged me less of a fee and all of that. But free, I don't remember anyone. I didn't just worry about it, even though I was on a shoestring budget. Jalapeno. Jen, I'm just reading that right now. Jalapeno. Nyah, 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 nyah. Who owns those exchange places inside the luggage pickup? The airport? Government? I don't know. No, usually they're private businesses. The only thing the airport rents out is the space, the little hole in the wall, the little shop thing, the little store thing, the little hole in the wall. And they rent them out to people that put up these exchange place services, these exchange kiosks. They're not kiosks, they're right there embedded in the wall. And it's not the government. Usually these are privately owned. I remember in Envigado, it's privately owned, the ones I have gone to. And unfortunately, some of these places are money laundering places. I don't know which ones, but I know some of them are. At the airport, probably more legit, but more expensive. You won't get as much bang for your buck, or your euro, or your sterling pound. Yeah, just take money out of an ATM. Don't get money from an exchange place there. You go down to Medellin, you're gonna find a lot of exchange places, and you just shop around for the one that has the best deal in terms of your money. Which one is giving you the best deal? Because they're gonna say on the little board, or some don't have the electronic board, the electronic screen. They just tell you how much, and you do your shopping around. Where you got some places like in Envigado, like half a block from the park. There's a little place. They got like three or four money exchange places in there, and you just shop around which one is giving you a better deal for your money, or just the ATM. You don't lose that exchange rate conversion thing. And with the ATM, decline conversion.
rate. Do you want to do the conversion rate thing? That's a scam. And if you decline it in some ATMs, then they'll still give you the money and not charge you that extra money that they're trying to rip you off for, just to show you how much you're getting in Colombian pesos from the US dollar thing, whatever. You don't need to know that. And that happened in India too. I remember I would decline at some ATMs, and then it wouldn't do the transaction. And at some ATMs from different banks, it would still do the transaction, and I wouldn't be charged that extra fee. Decline the conversion rate thing because it's a scam. I know Gabriel Traveler, a person I met in person, a YouTube travel vlogger. I met him in person, and he's an American from the San Francisco area. Gabriel Traveler. He gives a lot of informative videos about the country he visits, the rooms how much he pays for, what ATMs to use, what not to use, and stuff like that. And he always says, decline the conversion rate scam thing. Just decline it, and you won't lose that much money. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, there are private businesses who need a profit, the exchange rate places. But USAA, it doesn't exist in Colombia, the ATM. It's just the local banks, the national banks, Bancolombia, Banco de Bogotá, BBVA, Da Vivienda, those are the things. And then some uh, ATMs that are called Servi Banca that take Servi Banca. The old man likes to use that one. It's not a bank, but it's an ATM that takes a lot of different cards from different countries, like from TD Bank and whatever, and they usually charge a smaller ATM fee than Bancolombia, much cheaper. That's what the old man tells me. That's why he doesn't like to use Bancolombia, because they charge him way more money for withdrawal. Yeah, I was just talking about that 750 Norton. That don't use that exchange, the conversion rate thing. Just decline it and see if it gives you money when you're traveling in Colombia or anywhere in the world, India, Nepal, wherever, Spain. Decline it. If that ATM from that bank doesn't give you the money, I mean, they're not going to charge you for having gone through that thing usually, because you didn't withdraw any money when you put your bank card into it, or debit card or bank card, credit card, whatever. And that's what this guy does, Gabriel Traveler. I've seen him do it in many videos. Decline it until you find a good ATM from a good bank that will give you the thing. And you always see how much they're going to charge you. They tell you how much they're going to charge you for the withdrawal fee. They will tell you usually how much they will charge you for the withdrawal and all that. And then you decide if you want to withdraw from that ATM or not. Yeah, that's what it's called, dynamic currency conversion. There you go. Yeah, if you accept the ATM's offer to convert your currency, you're gonna end up paying more money. Just the local thing. You don't need to know what it is in dollars and whatever. You just want the local currency, and that's it. Yeah, Jen, thank you for posting that information. Donna is here. Here you are always supposed to select no. Yeah, you don't want the conversion rate. That's what I would do when I was in Nepal and in India. No to the conversion rate. And most banks gave me money, but a few neglected, like declined to give me money because I wasn't going with the scam. So they say, okay, if you don't want to be scammed, we're not going to give you money. Some banks, I just don't remember which banks they were in terms of what companies, Indian national banks. Yeah, and if you're if you got Wi-Fi, if you got data, when you land, just get an eSIM. You don't even have to buy a physical SIM. Like there are some these companies that are offering eSIMs that you just download before you fly, and you activate it once you get to the country where you're going. It should be activated or before you get there, whatever it is, and you have data, and then you could just that day if you want to find out what the conversion is. I mean, what the current exchange rate is. That's it. Like dollar for peso, dollar for euro, dollar for rupee, and stuff like that before you withdraw, so you know what it is at that moment, so you don't have to go through so many headaches, and you'll have data. But if you have an international plan, like I think it's I forgot what these American mobile service providers are. Well, I forget now. Sprint? No, I think that doesn't exist anymore. Mm. But sometimes they have good international coverage in many countries. Like Gabriel Traveler says that the company he's using, that he's been using for years, um, good. The data connection usually when he arrives at airports, and then he can get an Uber or an Ola at the airport, order a taxi, and go and get to his destination without a cinch, without a hitch. I mean, Eddie, is that with his Canadian ATM card? Yeah, my father has a TD Canada card, and he uses it to withdraw because he gets his pension in Canada because he lived in Canada for such a long time. He's a Canadian citizen, and he got pensioned in Canada. So when he wants to withdraw money here in Colombia, he uses Servi Banca. He avoids Bancolombia because it charges too much money, and he has used Servi Banca. But on two or three occasions, the ATM didn't give him the money, but it showed like it gave him the money, and then I had to make a phone call for him and file a complaint saying that we never got the money, and then they would have to do that whole thing for 5 or 7 days, investigating the thing with the CCTV and everything, and if the ATM did give the money or not, and then to reintegrate the money into his bank account in Canada. It has happened like twice in the last 14 months, if I remember properly, and I had to make the phone calls to get the money in. So he doesn't want to use Banca much anymore, but it was cheaper to get money out through that one. But Bancolombia has never had a problem with foreigners coming that I know about withdrawing money, and that you get the receipt that you got the money, but you didn't get the money, you know? And I've never heard of that. But with Banca, which is not a bank, it's just a system of ATMs that for all card holders to use, Master, Visa, whatever, Mastercard, Visa, blah blah blah, Cirrus, all those little symbols, Diners Club, etc. USAA is for U.S. military. It's accepted around the world at many locations and reimburses fees for withdrawal. Nice, that's what it is. Thank you for telling me about that, Jen. Yeah, your bank can tell you that if you contact them physically or through a phone call or something. Oh, so you're Canadian, Donna. That's where you are in Canada, in the Maple Leaf country. Protect the Maple Leaf. There's a guy I watch once in a while on YouTube. He's got a channel called Wrong Enough to Know Better, but he gets mostly into what's going on, the problems in Canada with this and that. But before, his channel was about India, but he changed it up. Got a new channel or whatever. Wrong Enough to Know Better. And he's Canadian right now. He just went back. He's going to spend the next 4 or 5 months in India. Loves India, just like I do, but not to live there, just to spend some months there and just travel around. What is this? Somebody's calling me, but give me a second. I got to answer a phone call because this is my person that's got to do a job this week for me. Iván, ¿cómo le va? Bien, usted, hombre. Sí, pero estoy ocupado. Cuéntame. Bueno, porque yo en media horita me desocupo. Sí, sí, es que estoy aquí en una videoconferencia. Listo, entonces si me llaman así, media hora puedo abrir y sacar. O si Pacho está ahí, si vengo a entrar por esos lados, pueden entrar ahí, allá. Yo ya sé que me tengo que conectar otra vez aquí, pues estoy conectado en una cosa, pues, con el computador. Sí, porque me da mucha dificultad para ir a abrir abajo y todo eso, y los perros y todo. Listo. Ok. Listo. Sorry, guys. Just I have to have some work done here during the week, and the guy's going to do the work. They're just popping up unannounced. If they could drop by and see some work they got to do, and I said, no, sorry, I'm busy. See, the thing about Colombia is you're going to learn if you come to live in Colombia. Colombians don't announce a visit. Like many Colombians will just appear and knock on your door, or ring your doorbell if it's an apartment building or a house in the neighborhood, and like, "Hi, I'm here. I was just passing by. Just wanted to see if you were home so I could pay you a visit." And you're like, "Excuse me, what? You didn't contact me before. I'm like um indisposed at the moment, or I'm busy doing something." "Oh, but we'll just take a moment." No. And the guy was just telling me, "No, but we could pass by and just take a few moments." I said, "Yeah, I got to put all the dogs into one house on the other side, and that's going to be a 5 minute job, and then go down with you guys, open up the thing all the way down there so you can see what it is you're going to do." And I'm in a conference. So when I have to deny, people say, "No, sorry." This is something about Colombians. I'm very American. If I'm ever going to visit family or friends, I let them know with a couple of days heads up, and to see if they say yes or no to it. But I don't drop by unannounced. But Colombians are like that. And that was the phone call. And I usually keep my phone off. Now I'm going to turn the ringer off because I just don't like it. So I said to the person, "Look, you probably heard me speaking in Spanish. I'm going to be done in about 30 minutes," which is true because lunch hour's coming. I got to give medicine to one of the dogs as well, the medication, midday medication to one of the doggies that needs that for the kidneys, and then eat lunch on my part. That's it. If the guy's still here, because it's like he has to show the other guy something, in 30 minutes I'll be off. If not, whatever. Because people, unfortunately, are like that. Colombians are very laid back. If you ever have an appointment, like you're going to meet somebody, sometimes they will be late up to 1 hour. And they're like, they might call you and say, "Hey, look, I'm a little late, but I just left the house." And that's BS. Sometimes they're still getting dressed and they haven't even left the house yet. Or you call them and say, "Hey, look, you're late. I've been waiting here for 10 minutes. Where are you?" "Ah, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm about to get there." And they're not even close. Unfortunately, one of the drawbacks of Colombian culture all over the country. Well, you always have to check the ATM. I always check them. You see, the point is when you're going to use an ATM, you use them at a place like the airport, high security there. They're not going to be able to run that stuff. Or you use it at a respectable mall, shopping center like El Tesoro in Medellin, or San Nicolas in Rio Negro, or Viva Envigado. You know these places, Santa Fe Mall, Oviedo Mall, because they can't pull those stunts off there. But if you use one of those ATMs on the street, that is just like a little thing on the street, and there's no security guards, and especially after hours, that you can use them when the bank is closed, because it's not inside the bank, it's separate from the bank usually. That's where you can fall victim to those fake card readers. But I always check the thing and look at it to see if there's no device attached to it. And I always use the ATM, my bank's ATMs, that I know the places where it's high traffic and nobody's going to be able to pull a scam like that. But you have to be careful. You're not free from falling victim. You just have to be, you have to use your street smarts, your senses. You have to use your wits. But they do have them here, because I have heard about them here. And now the global trend in some areas is that some people are coming and they have the scanner, like to scan your credit card or your debit card without you knowing, because they see where your wallet is. I don't keep my wallet in my back pocket. I don't have a wallet. I have a man bag, and I keep it on my front. So if anybody's going to try to scan it, they're going to have to put in my face their hand with the thing, and I'm going to knock them out immediately if that happens. I don't use a wallet anymore. My wallet is a man bag. Where is my man bag anyway? Let me see. It's what they call kind of like a hands free. This is my thing. And when I'm out, so I don't, and I carry my stuff in here, my everything, I keep it like this. At most, like this when I'm walking around. And I keep everything all in here. So they're gonna have to come in my face, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Bam. So they're not gonna be able to get me on that. Or you buy the other hands-free type that is kind of like a fanny pack or a kangaroo pouch that goes on like this and is smaller than this, and you'll be protected as a man or even as a woman. Because if you just got it on your back like this, where somebody could just come and scan it from behind and get your credit card, bank card information scanned immediately, those readers that scan. So you do have that. There are scams going on in Colombia. This is not a scam-free country. There are a lot of scams going on. You just have to be careful. Like getting strange calls on your phone. Don't ever answer. You don't have the person registered. You see a number coming in, but it's not a person you got registered. If they need you and you know them, but you don't have them on your phone, they'll leave a message. If they don't leave a message, they don't really need you. It's not serious. Yeah, good information Jen is giving there in terms of Americans, any people coming from the U.S. that are American citizens. Yeah, always check for scanners no matter where you are. Well, I'm not even angry about the person calling me if they can come over here and check because they need to do some work here in the country house on Tuesday. I don't get angry. Not anymore. I just tell people, no, I can't. If I could, I could, but I'm busy right now. If they are bedridden and need people's assistance to get by, is it handled by the public health care in Colombia or through private providers? Through private providers. The public health care system here is not like in the US. The public health care stuff. It's not like in the US or whatever they saying, home assistants or whatever they call them and stuff like that. Like I remember there was this Puerto Rican old man that he worked in the U.S. his whole life, and he had his pension and everything, and he would get a home assistant going there to help him in the daytime because he was like 94 years old, and to go out to the shop and help him this and that and help him with meds and whatnot. But here, no, we had to pay for that for our mother, my brother and I, to take care of privately to take care of her during the daytime while I was working because I was working online as a teacher like I am now, but I had a very busy schedule from 6 a.m. I had classes at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. and I had classes at noon and had classes at 4 or 5 p.m. I couldn't go to medical appointments with my mom and take her to this and that. And we had to hire a private nurse. Well, privately, it was not a private, it was a private healthcare provider, but she was a nurse from Venezuela. So it was a plus for us because most of these people are just auxiliary nurses, like assistant nurses. They're not professional nurses, but we lucked out in a good. I mean, we were lucky to get a nurse that worked with our mother until she left for Europe to look for a better life in Europe because she couldn't work here as a nurse, and she was just getting by. But we gave her a good salary, so she was doing a little better. So you have to. There are companies. I still have the contacts with like two of them. People are bedridden or whatever. My mother was kind of like bedridden because she couldn't get up on her own or whatever. She had lost a lot of her mobility. So there are companies that provide those services, like 12-hour shifts. Usually is how it works. Just you don't know who you're gonna get if it's a good one or a bad one, and you have to go through the ones you need to go through until you find the right one. Maybe you'll find it on the first shot or on the second shot to take care of the person that needs taken care of. Well, that depends. Like, I mean, if it's a 24-hour service, you're going to be paying a lot more money. I mean, if you're getting 7 days a week with this person, they're going to be sending you one person Monday through Friday for the day shift, another one Monday through Friday for the night shift, usually, and then another one for the weekend shift, Saturday and Sunday, nighttime, and then for the daytime, the 12-hour shifts. And you would be looking at roughly like maybe $1,200 a month. And they're not going to be cooking for you and everything. They're just going to be, being there, helping the person take a shower, bathing them. If they could put them in the bath, into the bathroom and everything, into the shower. If it has to be a person that needs to be bathed in bed, like do the dry kind of bathing, whatever, then because they have no mobility whatsoever, they're really bedridden. It's going to be around $1,200 a month or more. It depends on the company and the expertise that people have, you know, with applying medicine, injections, giving the right tablets, not messing up, and taking these people to appointments because you can't do it yourself because you're working and whatever. Like I couldn't go with my mom to the appointments during the daytime. I couldn't, especially because I was working. I needed to make the money. My brother and I were paying for this services. And once in a while, I just would go in between my work schedule to pick up her meds at the pharmacy, which was usually a 2-hour wait at the pharmacy that was for the company, for that insurance company. And you had to go through the whole process of getting a little number to get called to the thing to show your order for the prescription order from the authorized doctor for this and that from the company, and then pay the little fee, the co-payment fee, and then wait for the dispensary to dispense your medication. And it sometimes was an hour and a half, sometimes it was 3 hours doing those little missions on my side. So it's not easy. But if you got private health insurance and everything, then things become less complicated, but never easy. Or if you want to put the person that is a senior citizen and needs long-term care, you got the nursing homes, and you got cheap ones to the most expensive ones. Like something that is really expensive, I heard, like there's this one woman that she can't take care of herself, and she needs to be in a place that is whatever, and she pays for an apartment rental in a unit in a building that is dedicated to that for senior health care, and she pays roughly $2,500 a month for that apartment, and with all the medical coverage included there, like the medical facilities, the medical services, the doctors, the nurses, and whatever. And whenever she needs to go to a hospital for something big, like for some scan or something, she's got her medical insurance, her private insurance that she's been paying for forever, or stuff like that. And some places might be cheaper, like some nursing homes, and you have a shared bedroom with somebody, it's a little room in some big house or whatever, but it's not an apartment building thing dedicated to that. You might be paying um, $1,000 a month, not 2,500, but $1,000 a month for something like decent, but not like wow. Exactly, like Donna says, you don't. There's no coverage for that. You're on your own, or you pay for somebody to do that. Oh no, my father's staying in Colombia. He's got enough property to get more money coming in and pay for his own medical care, private care. It's not going to be me. I did it with my mom, but not with my father. It's very difficult, very hard, very draining physically and emotionally. Yeah, some people are really good that do the job and worth every penny. Some people just suck. You just got to find the right one. And we had the right one with the nurse from Venezuela, Jocelyn. She was great. And she and my mom formed such a strong bond. My mother loved her like a daughter. She did. My mom was happy with her big time. But then she was looking for a better life, and she went out to Germany. And we motivated her, go, go, go. Don't worry about my mom. You got to go for your future. She wanted to have a better future for her children that were teenagers, still are teenagers. And hopefully they're doing well in Germany. That was over 2 years ago now, going on three for them in Europe, having a second chance at life since Venezuela went down the drain for many professionals in the healthcare industry and other industries, other job areas. Yeah, my father ain't going back to Canada. He's happy here. He's got he's got his pension. He's got some other sources of income that he needs to activate. Right now they're not activated, but he's going to activate them maybe soon enough, and he'll be all right. Well, like I said, the thing with the rent and food, like I said, it could be like a decent place. It could be like $1,000 a month, and a very good place could be up to like $3,000 a month or more, $3,500 a month. Like you got these places that are like luxury, like country estate type place, like everything is finca, like a country house type setting, like big place, and with all the stuff and green spaces that they can take you on a wheelchair if you really can't move around, and you got those parks and everything inside the property. And like you got one, and that's like $3,500 a month or 4,000. Well, the cheap ones still decent, not bad, but decent enough in some small house in Envigado or in Medellin or in Envigado usually, or some parts of Medellin. It could be like $1,000 a month with rent and food. But you'll be sharing your space with another person in the bedroom. Usually, it's like two people in the bedroom for those much cheaper places. I remember when I was doing some research. There was one place like you had a private bedroom, but it was a really smaller place in Envigado, a two-story house or one-story house, and they had an inner courtyard and everything. I think it was like if it was a shared bedroom at that time, like almost 3 years ago, it was like $750 a month. And if it was a private room, it was $250 more to have your own private room. And you would still have the nurse and the doctor and the psychologist on site that could help out with those things. And then if there was an emergency, immediately off to the hospital, whatever hospital you had coverage at in terms of your EPS, which everybody's entitled to in Colombia as long as you're a citizen or you have some type of migrant visa, resident visa. In Medellin, like I said, they're more expensive probably because rental prices are higher in Medellin, but in Vigales it's just a little cheaper. And there are some places that are dirt cheap, but not really that good because they're in like neighborhoods that are not that good. Like there's one near downtown Medellin in Prado, the neighborhood called Prado, a couple, and they're just people from really poor families, and that they just put them in there. Some people don't even pay, and some people do pay for the care of their parent, mother or father that is old, and they receive donations those places to keep the places running, but they are much simpler. We donated all our mother's stuff when she passed away, her wheelchair, her walker, stuff like that we had for her, clothing, to this place that is run by one of our mother's cousins, because her first kin cousin and her husband run it down in Medellin, and they received donations, and we gave them all the month's clothing that they could use for the elderly people there. They said, "Yeah, we'll take everything." And the meds that we still had for the diabetes, the insulin, and everything, we donated everything that that they could use. And those places are dirt cheap, but the kind of care they're gonna get there is gonna be less quality. It's all about the money, unfortunately. The more money you pay, supposedly, the better care you get because the places are better equipped with better equipment, better living spaces, better neighborhoods, etc. Guys, I'm gonna finish up in about 2 or 3 minutes if you so I can go and have lunch and maybe call the person that says that they want to come and check out the work they need to do. Like I said, it was unannounced, and I can't drop everything for people unless I'm not doing anything. But my commitment has been to you guys here, and we've been on the air for 3 hours and 18 minutes. I'm really grateful for all of you having been here and that the ones that are still here. So that's one or two questions, and I'll answer, and then I'll have to sign off because I'm getting hungry and I got to give one of the dogs medicine. First, I got to give medicine to one of the dogs, call a person if they're still around so I can show them stuff, and then eat so I don't get a monumental headache because I usually have a good appetite. 750 Norton says they have enough skilled nursing facilities in Colombia, or do the seniors mostly cared for by family in house? No. The people that are middle class families and upper class families that have money, middle class families and upper class families, they get good care for their family members in general. But if they're poor, if they're poverty or below the poverty line or whatever, they take care of their own. They can't afford to do it. Most of Colombia is poor. More than 60% is below the poverty line, if I remember properly. But you can Google that. You can ask Chat GPT or whatever what percentage of people or what is the population in Colombia that is below the poverty line, and those people can't take care of their own. I mean, they can't send them to these places or have somebody come to their home and take care of them. They have to do it themselves. I've known families like that over the years. I remember a long time ago when I was a child in Caldas here, south of Medellin. Caldas is about an hour away from Medellin. And I remember we stayed with a family that my mother knew for a couple of weeks. And there was a lady that was bedridden. She was old. And there was another lady, was her sister, taking care of her. She had to do everything to take care of her sister. She didn't have money. She was poor. And she would just get some help from her daughter and the daughter's son. And that the daughter was working there and had a job, and they would contribute, but it was hard. The lady had to give this her sister a bath in bed because the sister was bedridden, totally couldn't get out of bed, and they were poor. They couldn't do anything, and we were there for 2 weeks with them or 3 weeks or something. And mom helped out with a lot of things, and we made the lady that was bedridden very happy because we were children. I was 10, my brother was 8, and we were just here when the time when my father and mother had a big spat because of our father being a knucklehead, and we had to stay in Colombia for a few months, and as children. So most people don't have the money for that. That's only middle class and upper class. Everybody else is definitely on their own. No problem. Thank you, Jamie Munoz and everybody. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Namaste. Um, there's a video coming out tomorrow about 6:30 in the morning. I think I changed it for 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. I was doing the YouTube analytics, and they say most of the people that watch my videos are on at this time, 6 p.m., 5:30, 7 p.m. I said, okay, let me just change it for now to see how that works for the next upcoming videos on Mondays and Thursdays to 5:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. And there's one about is Medellin for you, and I show some places, Medellin and Vigado and Sabaneta. And there's another video coming out on Thursday, somewhere around 5:30 or 6 p.m. So something like that. I don't remember too well. Guys, have a good one. Jen, you guys. I do have a playlist about Medellin metro area. If you guys are interested in living in that area, maybe. And I created a playlist about that recently. Videos I've made over the last 4 years or so. Some with the GoPro 10, some with the GoPro 5, some with my smartphone. And the quality is different on each one. So, guys, it's pretty much same here. The states are encouraging families to keep their seniors at home if possible. I got you. So, guys, take care. Until next time, que estén muy bien, que la pasen muy bien. Namaste. Ciao. Hasta la próxima. Until next time.